Hey everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin, joined by a very special guest returning. We got Aniki, the curator of AnikiMMA, one of the best YouTube channels covering MMA stuff. And also noted Taisei Nishitani stan. Aniki, how you doing?
All right. Hello, and it's nice to be back.
Uh, great. Before we get started, is there? I like you. Are you doing anything that you can tell us about? Any videos or anything that you'd like to give a shout out to so people can check them out in case if they you got shadow listed or something they missed them.
Oh well, um, I was actually sick for about a month, so I'm really behind on videos right now. But right now, I'm actually working on a video about Patchy Mix and his signing with Rizin. Although I'm going to be framing it as the thumbnail is like the most disappointing run in the history of the UFC. But if you actually go inside and look at the actual content of the video, it's mostly about it's partially about his run in the UFC, but also it's about how he matches up with Akimoto.
Interesting. Cool. Looking forward to that, man. Yeah, patchy mix to UFC. I'm sorry, excuse me, to Rising. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Patchy's gonna submit Akimoto with ease, but
I'll say this. I'm gonna give well, first of all, props to Ryzen and I guess Mix as well. For keeping the release under wraps and
I
kind
know
of
that's
the,
the craziest
the
part.
it must have been it's had to be like a dual thing because Ryzen must have known. Okay, we are not going to get attention if we talk about if he gets booked after, or there'll be little tension. In this way, the announcement of his release is there along with the show and the fight or whatever. So it's
Yeah,
like a kind of like a two-pronged thing. And if that's what they planned, that was, that's definitely a really, really smart thing. And especially because it didn't get out. You'd think someone like of his level, like that would have already been out.
actually,
So,
I have a couple sources from guys who train with him, but I knew that he had been released
mm,
prior to the announcement, but I did not think he was going to sign with Ryzen.
mm-hmm.
No, not in a million years.
Yeah. Um, and also if you think about it, Rising, it kind of it's a good option versus Saito, who they were originally going to do versus Akimoto because, well, for one thing, if Saito beats Akimoto, that looks bad for Akimoto. I think at this point, if Mix beats him, you could say, oh, former Bellator champion, former UFC fighter beats him, and it's like, nah, not that big of a deal, But if
Yeah.
Akimoto beats Mix, that's more, no disrespect to Saito, but that is a lot more. That's a lot more career rep than if he were to beat Saito. Let's be honest,
Yeah,
especially at this point.
yeah, and I mean, like, I know that people give Patchy Mix quite a bit of shit for his UFC run, but
Mm,
I think that Mario Bautista is underranked in the UFC.
yeah.
I think he's like as good as Song Yadong, and Yakub Wiklax could go on to become like a top ranked contender. We don't know how good Yakub is yet, so
Mm.
um, I think that Patchy he's gonna be like a ridiculously hard test for Akimoto.
Yes.
Ridiculously hard test.
Um. I would, but listen, I can't. The lead can't be killed. Those two matches were there for Patchy to win. And you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I think if Kai did not have like a U next contract, like basically behind him, he probably would have been mixed as well. I think at this point, maybe
well,
even. Hmm?
I mean, Kai's contract is even better than Mix's.
You mean better in that it's a more
It's
money?
more expensive.
Oh yeah.
It's much more expensive.
Yes. So that's why and if I think if he didn't have like Unex and all that stuff behind him, I think Kai would have gotten the I would have gotten. I think that's what we're gonna say. That's what we're gonna say now for UFC fighters who get cut like after two fights they get mixed. I think I'm gonna start using that now. But yeah, happy to see that mix. Is gonna be in, and it should be a good fight.
It should be. it should. I think it's going to be one-sided either way. But
Before we get into things, I just want to answer this question by Jacob Ayers. Will we get Rizin Kyrgyzstan this year? What do you think, Aniki? Do we get it?
you know, Sakakibara-san was saying that they're trying to do like a Korea, Rise in Korea, and they're trying to do a Rise in America. Rise in America, I don't think will happen due to issues with the commission and the rule set.
Well,
But
he technically said North America. People like totally assumed that North America was like USA. So, but he said North America. If I
Rise in Mexico, let's go.
Rise in Gulf of Mexico.
Rise in Mexico. Who could headline that card? I don't know.
Daniel Salas, bring him, scrape up his corpse for a Mikuru rematch. I don't know. Old Rise in lore, pre-pandemic Rise in lore. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Rise in Kyrgyzstan, though, I think there's a possibility. I mean, they did, but actually, no. I'm pretty sure that like there's issues with like the legality of MMA and sanctioning in Kyrgyzstan, and that's why all these Kyrgyzstanis they fight in, like Niza FC or they fight in Road FC. Like they don't have like a large regional promotion themselves.
Or they go to like ACB, ACA, whatever.
Yeah, they go to ACA
or Brave.
Like,
I'm looking right now, and there's only one arena I can actually find in Kyrgyzstan, and it's a 2200 arena that is used for ice hockey and figure skating, and this is in Bishkek. So that's the other thing. Like, could Rizin actually see? Azerbaijan has had their national stadium, and also Korea, they did it at that casino. But also, you probably know that the Azerbaijan arena they didn't pay for because the president or prime minister's wife owns it. So it was basically free, and the Korea one was paid for. So again, they're not going to do it. Go to if they have to pay for a Kyrgyzstan arena, they're not going to do it. Obviously, I would guess, and not to mention as well, like going to a 2200 arena. I don't think that's less than. Is that less than Korakuen? Doesn't Korakuen have like 3,000 seats? Or my brain
less than what? Korakuen?
Doesn't Korakuen have like 3,000 seats?
Let me check how many seats Korakuen has.
Because 2,200 is like that's small. I don't know where else people are making suggestions. Rise in India, Rise in Dominican Republic, Rise in Greenland, Rise in Quebec. Rise in Saudi, brother. That's right, Dubtex.
Actually, Korakuen holds 2,000.
That's 2,000. Okay, but look at the shows that they run there. Those aren't. K1 does Crush there, and Deep does. All
the shows
still do Korakuen. They do.
No, they do. They do all those shows.
So yeah, 2,200. Yeah. I don't see Kyrgyzstan happening this year. Certainly not North America as well. The other thing is also that when you hear Sakakibara talk, he talks. Do you remember who was the name? Do you remember the Prime Minister Ishida? Remember him? And he would always say, he would always say, "It's possible we can do this." We're thinking about. That's how Bara kind of talks. It's kind of promoter speak. It's because listen, people then start to report, Bara says they want to do that's the headline, or that's in the news. So he knows what to say. He knows what to say to get a little bit of extra whatever for for news articles. Unless we see a poster and date and tickets, I don't consider it like real at all.
Yep.
And I will go into this before I get into announcements. Do you think that Rise would ever hold events in Europe?
Never, considering time.
Yeah.
And the other big thing, the other major limitation besides time zones is I think that the major limitation is actually I guess they might be able to do something like along with like KSW. I don't know.
But again, the whole KSW thing is over. They don't, look who they have sent over in the years that they've worked together. It is such a the relationship is it's kind of like it's like that girl who you're saying, oh, like, or it's like that girl, it's like the girl at Hooters who you think likes you, but no, she really doesn't like you. She's just looking for a tip or whatever, a good tip or whatever. I don't consider that relationship at all like a serious one. That's just how I see it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's get into. Let me quickly get an announcement, then we'll get into more questions and all that stuff. So let me see my thing here for announcements. Well, okay, there we go. Okay, so just want to quickly remind everybody the Rizin contest. Where did I put my shirt? Here it is. The Rizin contest is still open for this T-shirt, medium-sized T-shirt. Remember, the way you can enter is by just sending me a message and telling me what fight you want to see Rizin do in 2026, and it's open to everybody anywhere, no matter what, whether it be Greenland, Dominican Republic, or Quebec, anywhere in the world. I'll pay for shipping. Just tell me what's your favorite, what fight you want to see in 2026 in Rizin, and I will put you on the Google document that I have made to sort out, and it's gonna be all random and all that stuff. As well, the podcast for the first time ever is sponsoring a fighter, and that fighter is Kaito. We are sponsoring Kaito, who will be taking on Tetsuya Seki at Deep Tokyo First Impact, February 23rd, New Pier Hall on Deep's YouTube channel if you're not in Japan. So make sure to check out Kaito's fight. I believe it'll be the main event. I think it will likely be the main event. So, main event: Kaito versus Tetsuya Seki. Check out that fight and show Kaito some love, and all that. And so yeah, we're here to talk about. Oh my God, there's so many comments. Let me get to the comments. Oh my God. Okay, so Zambibo wants to know why you hate Muslims. You don't hate Muslims. You just hate Dagestan. Correct. Right?
I don't hate Dagestan either.
Oh, okay.
It's actually more like if you criticize the Dagestanis for anything, you have a bunch of Habib. It's specifically people who have like who venerate Habib. They venerate like Habib, and to a lesser extent Islam Makhachev, and sort of like they almost deify these guys. And then when they lose, or whenever they do something like scam people with crypto, and you say, "Hey, this is wrong," you get a bunch of them coming after you. And I've been sent some death threats, things like that. So it's a cycle of hate.
My only issue is like the whole thing where they don't want to fight each other because they're both Muslim or Islam or whatever.
I don't think that's really truly an issue, because back in Brave, Hamza Chimaev was fighting Ikram Aliskarov and knocking him out.
But then it's I think there is a camaraderie between them because obviously of the religion, so that's obviously a thing there. Yeah, I do, but I don't know if it's as pronounced as say like when when Anderson Silva was saying I don't want to fight other Brazilians. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It just always seems like so and so doesn't want to fight so and so, and that's the only connection I can make. Or maybe they trained with each other's. By the way, Super Anime King says I am Muslim. I watch Aniki's videos, and he never displayed any hate towards religion.
Thank you. Well, I have like theological criticisms, but I don't have like a specific hate towards 1.2 billion people. I also do not post about them every single day. But actually, that's an interesting thing. Is Habib banned from Azerbaijan since he posts anti-Shia stuff?
Oh, I did not know that.
That's a definite possibility.
Azerbaijan, because Azerbaijan is a little bit on the not liberal side, but kind of a little bit not as theocratically strict. I think isn't that
it's liberalizing.
Okay, because they can drink alcohol there. I've seen what's his name?
Yeah,
Baldwin Bankrupt when he went to Baku. He was drinking with a bunch of Azerbaijanis. I think that's isn't that also how the guys Vugar and those other guys got in trouble because they got like drunk at a bar and like got into a fight or something? Wasn't that how it
Yeah,
was that? That's one of my favorite
yeah,
Rise of Lords.
yeah, and like Tafik Masayev has like the tattoos and all of that. So
That's true. That's true. Well, actually, so someone mentioned in Kyoji in the comments and to Gear. So you want to get. I know you want to do the show on the week that Kyoji had a fight. So you want to just talk about the. You want to briefly talk about that fight before we get into 10 years
yeah,
of Rising?
let's just go through that fight real quick. I
Yeah.
mean, like, I think I think everybody who watched Rizin was expecting Kyoji to win, but I didn't think he was gonna get it done that dominantly. I thought it was gonna be like a close-ish decision, but then he went in and just blew Tigir out of the water. And of course, this is I think it's good for Rizin stock because, of course, your your champion went in and just completely destroyed a member of Habib's team who previously had only lost sort of like a robbery decision to uh Zalga Sumagulov back on the regional scene. And then the other one was sort of like honestly a bit of a robbery decision to Tim Elliott, right? Because Tim Elliott, he was really, really cheating in that fight. So this is like the first like very solid loss, like very clear loss of Tigir Ulanbekov's career. And Kyoji gave it to him.
Mm-hmm. And who is he facing this weekend?
Oh, he's fighting Albazi.
That's it, Albazi. Yes. What do you think? How do you think that fight will go?
I think Kyoji's going to beat him very easily. Albazi could catch him with something like an uppercut or a right hand, I think. And I mean, Albazi does hit hard. So there's always that worry. But I think stylistically, is there anything that Albazi can do to beat Kyoji? No.
Well, what do you think that said? What do you think it says that Kyoji, this guy who was here before in UFC and then had all the success outside, is basically other than Tyra at this point, might be the most likely first Japanese champion to become a UFC champion.
Oh, can you repeat that?
Oh, sorry. I apologize. So how does this look for that Kyoji, kind of this veteran guy, not a Tyra or Kai, who UFC and Rizin, at least for his first fight, put a lot of stock in, that this guy is going to be the future, is going to be the first UFC first UFC Japanese champion.
I mean, I think it's a good look. Honestly, when it comes to developing the Rizin, and all of that, and developing Japanese MMA, obviously, I think that Kyoji is like the best sort of representative that we could have, hypothetically speaking. But I mean, I think that, regardless of if it's Tyra, Kyoji, or even Cop, right, it's going to be a good look. Like anybody but Banner Pantoja, basically, who's in that title picture.
But have you noticed that Rizin has not? Do you remember when Kai had his first fight? Rizin was really behind. There was so much promotion for that fight from Rizin, and ever since then, they have been quite quiet when their former fighters have had fights now. Have you noticed that?
I think it's just because Kai fucked up.
Yeah. I think that wound up doing more damage to Rizin than possibly anything was in, less than the Tim Elliott one. I think less than the Tim Elliott one. I think when they by hitching their ride to Kai and the way that it happened, and it was like egg on their face. It really made them perception wise.
Yeah.
Bad. Because now you have people who are like, oh, so now this guy was a Rizin champion and he gets choked out by Pantoja in the second. And all that stuff. I don't know how the Japanese took it. Well,
I think that
I know how you took it. I remember how you. Well, or was that the Tim Elliott fights?
I think that the I think that how would I put this? I think that losing to Pantoja is fine. I think a lot of people expected him to lose to Pantoja, but the Tim Elliott loss is just that was not good. Not good at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just how good is Zulu? Yeah.
Just how good is Zooey, yes. Okay, we got some questions. Let's get them quickly, then we'll kind of go back into the topic at hand. Do you think it's time for Rizin to do their own Road to Rizin program with the Indies promotion and start expanding internationally? So do you mean by like you don't mean Japanese promotions? I'm assuming that Bonjour you mean like the smaller promotions that are like international, if that's correct. Just clarify that. And then Aniki, the Mitchell wants to know why weren't you on the call with us during 325?
I was busy. There's things to life besides watching fights.
There is. I did not know that there was anything else.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dub Tax wants to know: can Aniki expand on the DEI problem in the UFC?
I called it the DEI problem because I wanted to clickbait people, but basically it's just me complaining about how we're getting rid of Renat Fakirov, Muhammad Makayev, and we're keeping Ibo Aslan and Anshul Jubli, who are terrible. If we end up keeping the Tafa brothers, if we end up keeping Junior Tafa, that's another sign, right? Because he just lost and he's on like a 4-5 losing streak and he has no ground game. Former Rizin fighter, he beat Taka Kenshin, but did he beat Taka Kenshin or Sudario?
Sudario. Remember Sudario refused to shake his hand and Ensign in a way really got pissed off with him about that?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Man.
And Ensign even said that's why you lost, because you refused to shake his hand.
Yeah. But actually I wanted to get back to the Rizin international idea.
Yeah.
I think that the Rizin International series, we already have, the Rizin Koshien, right? Where we have like a bunch of teenagers compete, and then the winner gets like a scholarship plus the right to one fight in Rizin.
And also, they also have Deep. There's Shuto. There's Pancras. Those are, and you get fighters also from there. With the 52 coming up, we're seeing Aimoto finally getting a Rizin shot, along with there's going to be new fighters coming from Pancras and Deep also. So it's for Rise. That Koshin tournament is something that's kind of like, I think, separate. When you're talking about like, I know 128 says Bara Contender Series. I mean, would you say that's kind of? Would you say that there kind of is like an unofficial one? When Bara goes to a show, that's kind of like the scouting. That's like when it becomes Bara Contender Series, right?
The way that I think about it is that every single regional title fight in Japan is kind of like a contender series shot for Rizin.
Yeah. I was joking that if Kiichiro Nakamura loses that Road to UFC fight, that's his automatic way into the next Rizin show, possibly. That's the other thing also, that RTU is also like a unofficial feeder for Rizin as well. Then Bloodborne says we need Indians in Rizin. You've told me that as well. We need those 3 billion people to tune in.
I mean, like, the thing is that with Indians in Rizin, it could really serve both the development of Indian MMA into something that's actually not terrible. Plus, it could be. I mean, time. I'm thinking about it in terms of time zones. I think, like Bara said, he wants to do shows in America. Whatever. Doing shows in America, that's just not going to work time-wise, because I mean, you're just not going to get anybody tuning in from Japan if you're doing shows in America. But I mean, India and I would say Australia, those are like the two places I would look into if I were trying to bring Rizin abroad, because those places they can watch Rizin without completely destroying their sleep schedules.
Um, Super Anime, I want to get to your comment because I really liked it a lot. He said that Kyoji is the best Japanese fighter right now. What I find interesting is the insular nature of JMMA might hold its fighters back, because if you make yen fighting just other Japanese guys, it stagnates you. Now, I think that kind of goes into the future of Ryzen. So we'll talk about 10 years of Ryzen a little bit later, but let's talk about the future of Ryzen kind of, because we've already got match announcements. This year has been kind of soft announced for what they're going to do, but they're going to really lean in, it looks like, in foreigner versus Japanese fighters. So what do you think that them leaning into that could that what are the positives and what are the negatives of Ryzen potentially doing that in your eyes, Aniki?
Oh yeah. So the sorry, I think I had some internet issues just for a
Oh, that's great.
second.
Yeah,
Peter,
sorry.
please.
So, like, what is the positives and negatives of Ryzen that it seems like this year they're going to lean a lot more into foreigner versus Japanese fighters for a lot of their major fights slash stars.
Oof. If we're gonna
Well,
lean into the foreigner
wait,
matchup,
what are the positives and negatives of it in your eyes?
I think that there's many more positives than negatives. Um, I think there's many more positives than negatives, because the thing is, when you're getting these Japanese on Japanese matchups, sure, it's much more fun if you're purely Japanese and you understand the language and you understand the culture and all of that. But there's no sort of in for the international audience, really, in many cases. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the negatives, of course, if you're thinking about things from like Ryzen's perspective, I'm bringing in foreigners from America, that's going to be more expensive. Um, Honestly, even if you have Americans fighting in Ryzen, that's not going to bring in like an American audience or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think that if I'm Ryzen, I would be bringing in fighters from countries where MMA isn't as big of a thing, like India, maybe, or Indonesia, or the Philippines, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
So, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
because then you're forcing because then those fans from those countries, they're going to be tuning in to watch their guy fight.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So Dubtax has a question. Thoughts on all the Ryzen fighters getting fraud check as soon as they get to UFC? So are you talking about the Japanese fighters? Or are you talking about, so you said on all, so the ones who've gotten fraud checked have been Kai. Who else?
Tafik Masayev.
How about Crone? Would we put Crone in that category as well?
I don't think many people think of Kron as a Ryzen fighter.
Okay. Um, I mean, listen, the biggest one is Kai.
Yeah,
That's really the biggest one of Kai. Jiri losing to Pehea twice, I
that's
think, is
not a problem.
no. Manel Cape. Listen, Manel Cape's biggest enemy is the weight scale. But
Yeah.
other than that, he's been great. Like a great fighter. Wait, let's see. Kyoji seems to be doing great. Let's see how he does this week, but he should be doing great. He should probably beat Albazi. Who else? I mean, Khalid Taha was nothing. But he was in Ryzen for like a cup of tea.
Yeah. I mean,
Who else is getting fraud
Vince
checked?
Morales. I mean, Vince Morales was yeah.
I don't see. This is the other thing as well. I don't consider a fighter who fights once like
Okay, well,
really.
yeah.
That's like unfair. That's like saying that I fought in Bellator undercard opening thing. That makes me like a Bellator fighter for life. I guess I don't know. If we want to count Vince Morales in that, okay, fine. Oh, Komei Day, Rosenstruck. Totally forgot about him that he was there. I mean, Junior Taffa also there was for one fight. Rosenstruck was there for one fight. Um.
Rosenstruik is in prison now, I think.
Oh
Or he's
yes,
in
yes,
jail, yeah.
yeah,
What was it, for
uh,
biting somebody? What was it?
yeah. He bit his neighbor. I'm trying to think who is fought in from Ryzen to. Hmm. Those are like the big names, like that I am thinking of off the top of my head. I don't think. I think it's less fraud. The thing Kai is the biggest fraud check. I think though. I think that's
I think Kai is the only true like fraud check. And
yeah
he's also one of the few examples when people say fraud check, in many cases, just like, you know, a young prospect taking a loss or something along those lines. In the case of Kai, that was a true fraud check.
yeah
Like, that was a real one. The Tim Elliott fight, that is a real fraud check.
yeah. Um. Oh my God, we got questions up the wazoo. Let's see if we can get to everything. Parnes has a from Ryzen Zone. Parnes has a contract with KSW. I almost said KSI for God's sakes. It's coming to an end. Any chance for him to fight Shaduliev? Nope, absolutely not. KSW has never sent their best to Ryzen.
Let me see. Let me check.
Oh
Can Parnese even make
no,
featherweight at this point?
he hasn't fought featherweight also in like about 3 years. I believe.
He was like fighting up at welterweight for a while.
Yeah. So unless they met at lightweight and as well, I don't think KSW is not going to willingly put Parnes over to Ryzen because Shadulyev's not even a featherweight. Or it's not even a lightweight. Excuse me. The fight would have been Souza versus Parnes, but Souza already lost. There's no sense in making that fight, and I don't think a Nazimov fight makes any sense. I don't. And also KSW just doesn't send anybody. Look who they sent. They sent
Clever back in the day.
Kleber, and that was the whole impetus for why KSW hated Ryzen for so long because he just kind of left. And but I'm trying to remember, there was a light heavyweight guy that was in the tournament for the first Ryzen heavyweight tournament, and then the other person was Samuchuk. And look at how terrible he was. Samuchuk was terrible and stunk up the heavyweight Grand Prix among many people in that. Super Anime wants to clarify. What I mean about stagnation is lack stylistic clash. It's MMA. To evolve yourself, you need to fight different styles and mentality. It's interesting, yes. That then, I was watching Justin Gaethje versus Patty, and I'm like, Gaethje has basically fought the same way for almost his entire career, and I think the time I ever saw him actually try to wrestle with somebody. And it's just interesting in that sense of there are some guys who just make it without ever having to do anything else in their entire MMA career. And then there's others who just seemingly, like, if you watch the Volk fights yesterday, where it's just like, how are these people improving? And so Aniki, with that being said, what do you think prevents or is causing a lot of stagnation maybe with Japanese fighters? Is it training? Is it kind of just sticking to the same gym for a while? Do these guys have to become, they have to by ATT to become better fighters? What do you think?
I don't think they have to go to ATT. I mean, like, for example, like Tatsura trains the Elevation Fight Team now. But
so he's no longer at the team in Okinawa?
He barely goes there, apparently.
Okay.
I think that, like, the main thing that a lot of these guys are lacking is, Billy Bigelow. I know that a lot of people give him shit, but I think it was correct when he said that Japanese fighters are Japanese athletes are very, very good at perfecting one thing. Like, Naoya Inoue, best boxer in the world.
Yes.
Japanese Olympic freestyle wrestlers, best wrestlers in the world, technically, like when it comes to technique. Same with like judoka. What other combat sports? Kickboxing even. Yuki Oza. But then you mix it all together, and you're doing all of them at the same time, and I think that's where people end up getting sort of caught in the transition. Like, for example, I really liked how you brought up Justin Gaethje, because Justin Gaethje, like, his greatest strength is like boxing in the pocket, but it's not just traditional boxing in the pocket. It's dirty boxing in the pocket, where he gets a collar tie and he throws an uppercut
and eye poking.
Yeah. or eye poking as well. But he gets an underhook and then he throws a leg kick. He's mixing the wrestling with the with his striking. Japanese fighters don't do that. They just like to. They tend to like it. They tend to try and like keep the kickboxing just kickboxing and try to keep it like super clean and technical. They don't go in and like use grabs. They don't They don't fight dirty basically. Well, not dirt. They don't fight dirty. It's more like they don't mix the striking and the wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. It's not. And it's not just like oh, I'm going to set up a takedown using like feints by using an overhand right. It's not just that. It's doing things like grabbing your opponent's hand and then throwing a leg kick after off balancing them. Things like that. They don't do that as opposed to the international guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's too technical. It's too
Mm-hmm.
clean.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Um, oh, sorry, just going back. What was it? Okay. Super Anime says I think that's why Korean fighters have historically done better in the UFC. No domestic scene to fall back on. I think it's also why Taira and Horiguchi are so good. I think we could credit Horiguchi, to ATT, Mike Brown, basically.
Yeah.
That's all Mike Brown. And if you look at the people who beat him after, well, it's like minimal, or he got outsized like the Patchy Mix fight. The Korean thing is very interesting because obviously I think we all think of Korean Zombie as like the pinnacle of like maybe being
but I'm just gonna be kind of honest. I feel like Korean Zombie he's got a bit of an overrated career.
I think I think for his time he was great, but like I think now he would be like, I mean, if you even look at like his last fights, he was not like faring well against like Yair Rodriguez, like and all that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah, you're short him at the end though. He was beating Yair, but
yeah. Dubtax says, are people in Japan racist to you, Aniki?
Not really, no. But that's probably because like whenever I speak to them, I just speak to them in Japanese, so they're like, "Oh, okay." He's just mixed up, whatever.
So Verizon Zone wants to know why your humble correspondent, has beef with JTT and BB. I'm assuming you don't mean Barbie Blank, who was in WWF. I'm assuming you mean Billy Bigelow. Anyway, I don't hate JTT, and I really don't hate Billy Bigelow. I hate more what Billy Bigelow says, and I hate what JTT I hate the preferential treatment that they get just because they're associated with Kurz. It's really like it would be like I don't know. Like there's a lot of things to shit on UFC for, but as far as I see, the only preferential treatment is like when somebody wins a championship from like whatever, they'll sign like 2 or 3 guys from the same gym. But that's even rarer now. And even if that happens, they'll still, if you like the guy who came from Izzy's gym, that guy who was awful. I'm trying to remember. Do you remember that guy? Blood Diamond, who was terrible. He got cut after I think 3 fights. So it was he got the same treatment as got worse treatment than like Patchy Mix. So I don't like that JTT because like if we're talking about like Hiroya, in any other promotion that would exist, Hiroya would be told, we are going to cut you. You can get 2 or 3 wins wherever, then we can have you back, or or worse, they'll say they would be Paul Daly'd or mixed or whatever. So I just don't like, and I don't have problems with and also when their fighters have like their first fight or second fight in deep, they are clearly getting favorable matchups.
Yeah, that's true.
And I understand that's a part of MMA, but when I see a guy who's he's a black belt in Japan, a black belt who's at JTT, and he's fighting a guy who only knows striking, it's very obvious. And also, the JTT guys are always in the red corner. It's very obvious how the fight how they want it to go. And then Billy Bigelow again. I don't hate. I think it's great. I think I don't hate. I just don't like these Andrew Tate statement,
Yeah.
general statements, things of just like, you know, to do better, you gotta be better. The only person who could say no is you. And it's just like, we don't, that's not how the, I hate it. I just hate it. And it's just, I don't know. Like, also, I had sources that tell me that he was not training the people at JTT when he was supposed to be training everybody. He was not like just Kai and Hiroya and Mikuru's coach. He was not training everybody like he was hired to do.
Well,
And
he kind of confirmed that. He recently went on an interview with.
was that when he said that, like, oh, because nobody else was like showing the effort or something like that?
Well, what he said was he showed up on a show called the Kakuto Casto, or the martial arts broadcast, and the guy on there speaks English, so they did the entire interview in English. And Billy basically said, "Oh, like the JTT guys, they weren't showing up to train. They weren't showing up. Like for example, Taisei Nishitani.
Poor guy's always getting straight from everybody.
No, it's not a straight. It's not a straight. And I mean, Taisei Nishitani basically came out and said, "Hey, I actually wasn't training." In response to Billy. And I mean, like I wouldn't. Okay. Like Billy, I don't think he's necessarily like a bad coach or anything like that. It's just that, he probably just was a terrible fit for JTT and what they want to do, because JTT is where you go to make money.
Mm-hmm.
It's not where you go if you want to become like a serious fighter.
Do you hear about that gym, that BJJ gym that opened in the UK, that was like $300, like 300 pounds a month, and it's got like jacuzzis and like massage therapists and all? You heard about that? Yeah.
You're talking about the JTT branch in the UK?
No. It was a BJJ gym. What's her name? The Fiona Davis, I think, is the head coach of it. It's who's come out of that gym? Who's coming out of that gym besides obviously Fiona Davis, who's the coach of it? It's less. It's kind of like a Planet Fitness versus, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, Zambibalor is saying, is Mikuru a serious fighter? Mikuru's, I think he's like, he's on and off. He's like, he wouldn't be considered like a serious fighter by like probably like the standards of somebody like, Alexander Volkanovski or something like that, or Rajabhat Lashedalayev. Like, he's not got his entire life. He's not got his entire life riding on whether or not he wins his next fight. So,
yeah, we're getting a bunch of comments. Let me see. I'll try to get through them. Billy Bigelow is an engagement guy. He overinflates the connection with Kai Azakura. By the way, I think they just unfollowed each other on social media. I believe that's what happened. Captain says that's what I think. I think one of those accounts, was it Mac Nally or Saito, Maijin Saito, posted like
yeah,
that they're not following each other. One of those. It's one of those accounts, or it's one of those accounts that has like a bunch of numbers in it, and like avatar, cartoon avatar, or whatever. Captain 99 says the current crop of Korean fighters coming up into UFC are a lot more well-rounded than 5 years ago. The scene's come a long way since the WEC zombie blocking punches with their faces. Yes, no, it has. It has. Dub Tech says Ryan Garcia would have knocked out Ampo in front of thousands and raised the profile of Rizin. I'm assuming you're joking about
I love Korean Tyson so much. Like the guy that fraud checked Oban Elliott.
Yes,
I love that guy so much. That guy is good.
Yeah. Jacob Iyer says, what are my thoughts on Shingo JMA icon Shingo Suzuki being Hayabusa 2? I mean, well, listen, this is the most attention that 0-1 has ever gotten, was by resurrecting literally a dead gimmick from a dead wrestler and it being passed on. So congrats to 0-1. I have not heard anybody talk about 0-1 ever. God, I don't even know how long, but congrats to them. They know what they're doing. So yeah, hopefully Shingo Suzuki has lots of success as Hayabusa 2. Oh, and he wants to know as well, is it true that ring girls are porn stars? If you happen to know that, Aniki.
Actually, um, I don't think that's the case. I don't. I have no idea about the Rising Girls. I have no clue. I do
Aren't they
not follow
mostly
them
like
at all.
Gavar models or whatever that is? Aren't they
Yeah,
like?
they're they Gravure models or whatever. They might be that, but uh, the only thing I know about the Rising Girls is that people complain about them not being as pretty as they used to be.
What? I'm so sorry. What sense? I think they're good looking. What? What was like? Are they saying that they're like too fat now, or what is it like? What's the main
I don't
complaint?
know. I don't know. But personally, I think that the preferences for women that many of all of the many of the Ryzen fan base have, they really like that sort of like super plastic surgery, like I don't know, like super like they like I don't know, like messed up eyelid, whatever.
Mm,
You know
yeah.
when Ran Kiramoto posted that photo, that drawing of the woman, and he said, "Oh, there's like 1,000 of these at every single Ryzen event," and then an account said, "That's your wife, bro."
That's true. That's very true.
Um, I feel like the preferences of a lot of the Ryzen fan base is that,
Mm.
as opposed to like a more natural, less surgically enhanced vision of beauty.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yes.
Um, you got a question from our good friend Tisan. He wants to know you're Hafu and you used to live in Japan. Can you tell us your some background experiences in Japan and all that stuff? I know you have a secret identity and
No, yeah.
so I don't want whatever you feel like.
I
You
can,
know.
I'm getting closer and closer to self doxing, but it's fine.
Do you want to
Uh,
say in Japanese? Maybe if is that better or
oh no, it's who cares? Yeah, could you tell yourself about background experiences in Japan, where you live, how you say it? I mean, like, I live in like the greater Tokyo area. That's why I can go to all the Ryzen shows in person. I'll be at Ryzen 52 in person, I think. Actually, I will be there. It's smaller arena. I can see things much easier. Uh, Background experiences. I'm half American. I grew up in the States for a while. Um, and between the States and Japan, I would always prefer living in Japan. Um, in Japan in elementary school, I got bullied a bit for, looking different. Whatever. Who cares? Uh, and yeah, that's about it.
you'll have the same career arc as Chihiro Suzuki. um
Hopefully not the same reckless fight style.
Oh yes, yes, and getting going to fights with like broken legs. I guess let's talk about like the future of Rise. Let's kind of go with that. And one of the things I want to talk about with you, and I'm really interested to hear,
Yeah.
is when Mikuru retires. I'm predicting he's going to retire this year because my belief is that there's really nothing else for him to do. I don't know, like fighting wise, and I think you'll just become full-time promoter of breaking down or whatever. So I want to ask you, what would when he does retire, how do you see Ryzen going? Like what direction do you think they'll go and who they might try to get behind to try to replace the guy that Bara recently said was more popular than Sakuraba?
I think bringing in Patchy Mix really throws a wrench into the whole equation. But I thought that the optimal result was going to be there's going to be no Ryzen there's Mikuru's going to be out, of course. And then within 2 to 3 years, I think Shade Alive is going to be going to the UFC, right?
I think he'll go this year. I think
You think Shade Alive is going to go this year?
I'm if he's not gone, I don't know, like, because he obviously will fight probably the winner of Akimoto mix, but also Ryzen does have a tendency to let people go when they're champions.
Yeah.
So I mean, if UFC came to him with a great offer and he went to Ryzen and said, "Hey guys, they're gonna pay me this and all this stuff," I don't think Ryzen's gonna say no. Which is
I don't
kind
think
of
Ryzen would say no because personally, what I would if I were Shingo and I was matchmaking stuff, I would be like, how do I make sure that I can justify a vacant title match for the featherweight title between Kyoma Akimoto and Ren Hiramoto?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that would be perfect. That would sell out New Year's. That would sell out New Year's like that.
Mm-hmm. if Ren manages to not let the door break his hand opening a door or whatever. Yeah. Dubtax is a question for you. What do you like more about Japan versus America?
It's safer. I'm not afraid about getting shot. There's no meth heads on the street. There's no fentanyl. That's about it. Oh, I mean, like, yeah.
Super Anime King has a great statement. It's interesting because Sakakibara said they have plans to fill a stadium without Mikuru. I assume it would have to do with Ren because he's probably their second biggest star, but he isn't reliable. Yeah, that's the thing. So obviously, I think after Mikuru, the other thing is also, does Ren is one of those guys. He's at that stage now where I'm getting annoyed hearing more about him wanting to fight when he clearly seems to have no interest in fighting. So, or it's just like nothing's working out. It's like the Colby Covington thing. I get annoyed about hearing. Sorry, go ahead, Aniki.
I have heard rumors that Ren will likely be returning on one of the upcoming cards in April, May, or June.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like, if they're gonna target something, yeah.
Kaplan says here, Chihiro and Akimoto are the future. They just can't burn them out early.
They burned out Chihiro early.
Well, do you think Chihiro can be that? Could he be like a top 3 or top 5 guy, drawing guy for Rizin?
No. He just doesn't have the personality for it. And he's already washed. He's already kind of burned himself out. Rizin just ate him up and spit him out.
Didn't he just do an Instagram live and say that he has a fight announcement soon, and he didn't also know who Patchy Mix was? Didn't he say that?
He didn't know who Patchy Mix was.
I wasn't. I obviously did like a Twitter translate, so who knows what it could be. But someone did like a breakdown, and that's what it's. I don't know if it was I didn't know Patchy Mix was fighting in Rizin, or I did not know who Patchy Mix was before. I couldn't tell. If you look it up, you could probably find it on Twitter. But yeah, that's what he apparently said during this live stream. What about Akimoto though? Do you think Akimoto could fill the Mikuru?
Definitely.
Is it? You think it's because of his skill, age? I mean, let's say it also. He's definitely on the better looking side as well. That helps as well.
No, he's got skill. He's got age on his side. He's got that connection to Mikuru. The only thing I would say to Akimoto is, please go like, it's literally like 6 minutes away from JTT by train. Please just go down to Imanari Jujutsu and getting your grappling there, getting your rounds there, because a lot of like top level ADCC guys go and train there. So please just go down there, sneak out of the gym, go and train there for a bit. Of course, it'd be better if he was training with like top wrestlers, but if he, does a couple rounds over there, he might have a good shot at beating Mix. That's all I'll say. Like, he can keep on doing all of his striking training at JTT.
Rizin Zone has a question. Do you think Shadow Live can beat the Volk that fought this weekend?
No.
That's a tough one.
No.
5 rounds? I don't think so. I don't even think Shadow Live he's never made it past the second round, let alone I think had any fights that are 5 rounds as far as I know.
I think Shade Alive, he has the potential to get good enough to the point where he can beat Volk. Where he can beat, Diego Lopez, where he can beat, John Silva.
I think though, if he goes to UFC, he's going to be fighting at bantamweight probably. I don't think he's going to do I don't think he'd do featherweights.
Yeah. If he fights at bantamweight, I mean, he would be a tough matchup for basically everybody. It's just that Volk is so fast and so technical, and yeah.
I think I think he's likely when he goes to UFC, he'll be. I'm gonna guess bantamweight. And who's the bantamweight champion right now?
Fyodor Yan.
Peter Yan. I think he has a better chance of beating Yan than Volkanovski.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, apparently also Jacob Irish says that Billy Bigelow is vague posting about Kyoji now. Oh my god. T-San says, I heard from people related to Mikuru. Mikuru regretted his retirement because business people did not treat Mikuru as great as before. So Mikuru will continue his fighting career for sure. And Cappen's been saying that Chihiro's 2025 stock was hurt. Well, his stock 2025 hurt his stock tremendously. I definitely think so. Yeah. Dubtax, you're right. Ren has aura, but here's the thing: the guy has not fought in over a year as well. So, and when he's had fights announced, he gets injured, and then is a month later at a Travis Scott concert.
Yeah.
So,
Ren Hiramoto is like my favorite. How do I put this? He's my favorite.
He's my favorite fighter that doesn't fight.
He's my favorite. He's just so. He's so. How would I put it? He's so cringe. I love it. He's so unfathomably cringe. He tries to stay cool, but it all just comes off in the wrong way, and it's just like, this is just so good.
The other thing also, he needs a foil. He needs like a Mikuru who takes themselves way too seriously, or is who's like too dumb to recognize, like too dumb for like good, better clapbacks.
Yeah.
So like God forbid they ever did Ren versus Shadolayev. Like nothing that Ren would do would at all phase Shadolayev at all. And I'm trying Akimoto would work because Akimoto is not afraid to clap back. Like the word that he called Hagiwara. I'm not gonna repeat that word here, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
No, going up to Patchy Mix and saying, "I need this guy tested." That was good.
I was surprised. I think he was referring to, I don't know if he was joking or if he was referring to the whole France thing, but that was apparently for weed. That was not steroids, apparently.
I know, but still.
Yeah. But even Mix is like, I'm not even sure what this guy is talking about. He just like wiped off the shoulder. Super Anime King says, I hope he can come back stronger because Chihiro is my favorite fighter in Rizin. He generally wants to improve himself as a fighter and wants to grow the promotion. That is true. Chris Cushman asks, last man standing belt match this year. I have no idea whatever happened to that belt. I think that belt has gone. I think it's collecting dust like the light heavyweight championship at this point. You have any idea where the LMS title is, Aniki?
I don't know. No idea. Maybe Ren Hiramoto has it like buried under his gym or something like that.
Captain says Shad has really not been tested yet. Is it that he's not been tested, or is that just he's just so much better than everybody? He just destroys them. I think it's the latter.
I think it's the latter, but I think that what Shade Alive is showing is that he would kill everybody outside of the UFC rankings. But then we don't know how he would do against somebody who's actually truly ranked caliber. Because
even if Akimoto were to beat Mix, I still pick Shadowlive over Akimoto. And and I think even vice versa, Mix, I think Shadowlive beats Mix as well. We'll never know how he's truly tested unless he were to face like a Parnes, or if he ever goes up and were to fight like a Satoshi, I think that's maybe what you can do as well. Dubtax says, no way a Rizin guy is winning UFC. The only one who did decent was Jiri, and he got fraud checked by Chama. And we already talked about this, Dubtax. We already talked about the whole fraud check thing. Komede says, people were calling Mikuru washed before 2025, then he had his best year. That's true. He was getting he did not have a good, even his wins were shit. Do you remember that whole year with Ushiku and the Saito rematch?
Yeah.
Let's see. Red Hiromoto Shad press conference would be like the Key and Pell anime skit. That's funny, yeah. Ryzen Zone asks, do we get any GP this year? I think so.
Maybe. But maybe like a bantamweight Grand Prix, that would be good. But
I was gonna say lightweight. I think they're good. I think because I guess before Souza lost, it's kind of like that's how do you find somebody to face Souza? You just have that for him.
yeah. Anyways, let's move on to like a different topic here
Yes.
since we got through all the comments.
Oh my god, yeah. 10 years of Ryzen. I'm curious to know, when did you start watching Ryzen? Like, what was your first Ryzen show?
I mean, like I knew about Ryzen for a while, and I think I had like caught like a few like clips of it. But like the first one where I like really sat down and I did my research and I really watched everything through was actually like like Ryzen Decade.
Mm.
And then I went back and I watched all the lore. Basically, that's how I have the knowledge.
So did you watch every show that Ryzen put on when they started, and then caught up with the whole?
Basically, I caught up. Yeah.
Okay. What have you seen Ryzen? What improvements do you think Ryzen has made in those 10 years versus along with some negatives that you think that like I wish they didn't kind of do this or I wish they didn't go this route?
I think that the biggest negative and positive that Ryzen has sort of had is they have sort of they used to have to bring in all this expensive international talent to sort of and I guess they still kind of they're planning on doing it from now on, but for different reasons. They used to have to bring in like Yuri, Fedor, Krokop. In many cases, they were relying on like the memory of Pride, right?
Yes.
But they've sort of gotten rid of that. They don't need to rely on the memory of Pride anymore. And Sakakibara was saying, there's many fans who don't know who Kazushi Sakuraba is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign. That's actually a good sign because it means that the generations have moved on. But and well, like because of that, you end up having all these domestic stars, right? Like Mikuru Asakura, Ren Hiramoto, etc. But the problem is that many of these domestic stars, there's also a lot of them who aren't very good. Like Mirakota, Yushi, Tomizawa, Taisei Nishitani, etc. Right?
Mm.
So it ends up bringing down the level of the promotion, and it might bring down the sort of perception of the level of the promotion among international audiences. But honestly, I don't think many international audiences know who like Taisei Nishitani and like all these guys are. So yeah.
And now thinking back, I didn't put in that for my predictions about Kota Miura having a fight this year. I think now I'm gonna start doing for next year's rapid fire predictions. Taisei Nishitani will get his first win in Ryzen. I think that's what I'm gonna do for next year's.
They need to do Miura versus Nishitani,
and that's a great fight to make. Like when you think about it, like and do have 145 or 140. Neither have to weight cut probably that much. So yeah, just
Taisei Nishitani apparently is like super fat, and he walks around at like 86 kilograms. So
he look like where's all the weight though? I don't.
In his gut and his legs.
Okay. CS Combat Sports Today. Great people over there. Said I remember when Ryzen was first announced at a Bellator show. Time flies by, and that was right. That was on Spike TV, Captain. So would that be Super Anime King says, has there ever been this many domestic stars in JMA? When you think about Pride and Japanese star, you think of Sakuraba. But now you got Mikuru, Ren, Chihiro, upcoming guys like Akimoto. That's actually a really good, interesting point. What do you think about that, Aniki? I don't want to say, well, also, you can't forget Takada. Despite how awful he was bigger before Sakuraba and the Gracie Hunt. He was the biggest Japanese star outside
yeah.
maybe a sumo guy. And yeah. So what do you think that Risen's that I think you definitely point to more guys on more guys that are stars like Chihiro to extent, Ren, Mikuru, Akimoto. If you want to put Hagiwara there, I'm happy to hear that argument too.
I think you have to. I think you have to put any sort of featherweight striker who, like every single flavor of featherweight striker.
Well, I guess also when I say star, I'm not necessarily meaning good. I mean like someone who's a bankable, who's going to sell out.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I definitely feel like Rizin has a lot more of that. Also, we can't really trust the Pride attendances for many reasons. Well, so what do you think about that? That Rizin seems that at least we have concrete evidence. Oh, this guy that these guys are selling are the reason these arenas are selling out.
Oh, concrete reasons why these guys are the
Well, so
arenas.
like versus Pride, where like the only true, I guess, die in the wool stars that they had were Takada, who was a pro wrestler, and then Sakuraba, who also marketed himself as a pro wrestler. And now Rizin has actual like MMA fighters who are the actual stars.
Yeah. I think that what ends up happening is, first, of course, you can stack a show, but the thing is that you can use these guys as headline shows, like they did with Akimoto versus Hagiwara, right? The fact that you're not relying on just a single star to sell out all of your arenas, it gives Rizin a lot more mobility around the country. Yeah.
Oh my god, the comments are going insane. Okay, Zambibor says Rizin is a continuation of Dream. I would absolutely disagree with that. Dream made many big mistakes that so far Rizin has not made yet. You have Hamza. You've missed a cornucopia of things. So go back and watch. Jacob Iyer says that Takada being popular is just something that can only happen in Japan. That is kind of true.
Yes.
Yeah. Hamza also wants to know, was Sakurai big in Japan, or was he only big of us NHB fans? I don't know. Aniki, if you can speak.
Oh, Sakurai Maha? Yeah.
Mach. Yeah.
I feel like he didn't have like the crazy fans that people. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. Not like the crazy diehard fans.
Oh my god. Let's see. Keiji Muto would have been a better anime than Takada. I'm just picturing the Shining Wizard knockout from from face paint Great Muda. Takada was getting subbed by white belts and Boss Ruins Jiminelli. That is very true. Yuto Kubo got subbed by Shibatar. Oh, Dubtax wants to know, Aniki, face reveal when? You see his face right there? That's what I've met him. That's what he actually looks like. He has blue hair. He's got ponytails. He also looks like John Jones, kind of.
Yeah.
The eyes are only a little bit of exaggeration. So, but everything else is virtually identical to the PFP.
Anyways, let's try to burn through these comments.
Yes. Oh, okay. Hayato Sak. Oh, remember the first 7 shows of Pride weren't big. Yeah, they're also not really good shows. They're really like kind of like cobbled together bad shows. They really, if you really look back on Pride 1, Pride 2, they're not really good shows. It just feels like a mishmash of like the bare minimum of what we could find to make these shows sell tickets plus Takada versus a Gracie. Oh my god, let's see. Coppin says Mock was like peak hipster MMA when he was number 1 pound for pound. T-Sound says Sakurai came from Shuto. He has many more core fans from Pride. Here's an interesting topic. Hamza wants to know, I wish Rizin will sign Japanese wrestlers. So I know that Sakakibara loves signing Olympic wrestlers or people of Olympic backgrounds, and there has not been any since maybe Ota who have gotten.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Do you think he saw Ota and was like, I don't want another Ota. Let them go somewhere else first, and once they get good, I'll sign them. You think
Yeah,
they're
I
doing the
mean,
wait? They're waiting out.
like, we're seeing how Gable Stevenson is being developed before his UFC debut, and I think that's the way to go around it instead of throwing an Olympic wrestler right in there with like a 30-fight MMA veteran like Yuki Motoya. Yeah.
I think also this isn't gonna sound awful, but also a lot of these. How much? So my understanding is that if you're an Olympic wrestler, you basically get paid everything for life or for
Yeah,
as long as you're
basically, yes.
training. Now, once you go into MMA, I'm sure that must end.
I
So
don't know if it does, but
I thought it did. I thought it did because that's why a lot of those judo guys don't go into MMA because they lose all those judo privileges and all that stuff.
I haven't looked into it, but that might be the case.
Um, yeah, I mean, MMA is just not wrestling, and Ota learned that the hard way. Remember, he lost his first fight and got pile driven by reverse pile driven by Danny Sabatello. And now I think his most recent thing was just doing like an amateur match. I think that's the last thing he did was like some amateur or Greco-Roman match, maybe.
Yeah, something like
Um, let's see. Jacob Byers has a question for you. Aniki, do you like pro wrestling or are you an MMA only guy?
that. Oh, I like I don't like pro wrestling. I just don't watch it.
So no Shin Nihon, no Zen Nihon or Stardom.
Nope.
Okay. Oh, that's sad to hear. T-San says, "Oh, Pride time. Yoshida Hidehiko was the biggest star recognition to the public in Japan because he was one of the most famous gold medalists in Japan. So yeah, they had him, but Yoshida didn't wind up working out. He was good, but had a major ceiling. Oh yeah, Jacob Byers says that your early Pride was just ex-pro wrestlers getting wrecked by Brazilians. True. That's really true. Okay. Masanosuke Ono is getting gigantic bag of NIL money from Penn State campuses. Okay, well, that's why they're not going to MMA. I mean, listen, if you want to also talk about Olympic stuff, like Aaron Wolf is with Shin Nihon. I heard that Rizin was interested in him, but I'm willing to bet that probably New Japan offered him a lot more money than what probably Rizin would have offered him. Plus, also, there's no heavyweights also on the Rizin. Zambibo wants to know if you have trained any martial arts. Have either of us? Answer is yes. I'm an undefeated MMA fighter at 1-0. And purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Aniki?
Yeah. I'm like I train in martial arts. I mean, like mainly, I do MMA, basically, just all of it.
Oh, Captain corrects himself. It's not a Olympian, world champion. Oh well. Okay. Let's see. We'll get into this question, then we'll get into more 10 years of Rise stuff. Hamza wants to know why are Rise changing their judging rules, keep the old school prize scoring system. It's because Barra likes to just change a lot of things a lot of times for some reason. He's kind of, it's always, I don't know, is it like a looking to the future thing? I don't know how else, what's a good comparison, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think about this new judging system that they're going to, I couldn't even understand it when I tried
I
to
couldn't
like,
understand it either.
that's bad. You can understand. You can read Japanese. I can't. I was using for translation, and you're probably and like, yeah, I can't. I don't know how like it's going to be unified judging along with entire fight judging, and it's going to be judged as all. I have no idea. I really have no idea. I don't know what. Yeah, let's see how 52 goes, and if like, then we can start complaining.
Yeah.
Anyways, 10 years of Horizons. What have been your favorite moments, or what sticks out to Horizon is like, I would say, in your opinion, their best moments?
I think their best moment. This might be some recency bias, and because I saw it in person, I think the Mikura Asakura win over Chihiro Suzuki. That was a big moment. Yeah, that was like so huge.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Gotcha.
that was like when I saw that, I was like, the money, the money is back. The money man, yeah,
Yeah.
the ticket seller is back.
If he had lost that fight, what do you think what do you think would have happened? Like, do we get? I don't think we get that Mikuru one. Do you think they go? Then you have to assume then Chihiro would probably lose fight as well. Oh wait, no, the Dot Black fight. Sorry, hold on. The Dot Black fight was first, then the Mikuru fight, right? I think that's how it went, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It was Clever, Doubtbeck, then Mikuru.
Okay, so I don't know then what would have happened because Chihiro would have always been so banged up. That might have actually stalled featherweight. That could possibly stall the featherweight division potentially. Because again, Ren wasn't fighting. So oh man, so the only one that they probably would have had to lean on is Akimoto, probably.
Yeah, true.
I'm thinking about like that sliding doors. I'm trying to think like what would have happened if Mikuru had lost. You think they would have tried to just, run with the Mikuru thing anyway?
Maybe. I mean, like, he's the guy who sells out shows.
Maybe that's where Hagiwara comes in. Actually, that's where Hagiwara comes in.
I mean, like the thing that you can do with Hagiwara at this point is that whenever you have like a featherweight on a losing streak, you can just throw him at them.
Imagine what would you do? So imagine if Chihiro had lost, had won, and then obviously he's too injured to do fight here. Ren obviously is Ren. Akimoto probably, they're still giving him kind of a little bit of gimme fights. Imagine if they would just push through Hagiwara versus Shadolayev.
Do you want to see somebody die?
I would. Oh my god. I'm thinking about that. I'm just thinking of all the dire possibilities of how that would end for Hagiwara. So okay, Rizin wins. Mikuru winning. What about? I mean, anything else? Like, what else do you think are important Rizin moments for you as a fan?
I mean, just looking back, I mean, I wasn't there for it, but I think the first Yutaka versus Mikuru fight, that really changed a lot of things. Because if Mikuru had become the featherweight champion, honestly, I don't think he would have been as big of a star in some ways.
So that's I wanted to ask. Do you think that Mikuru became more of a star due to breaking down not YouTube, but breaking down stuff, right?
Yeah, breaking down YouTube, it was basically his YouTube channel. That's what made him like a big star.
Okay, gotcha. What do you think I know King Seal is going to hate me because I told him I wouldn't talk about, but since we're already kind of talking a little about breaking down, what do you think is the future between Rizin and breaking down?
I think breaking down is kind of screwed. People are losing interest. People are realizing kind of like how dumb it is. But also the other thing that's really happening with breaking down is the brain bleed incident, right? The subdural arachnoid hemorrhage that a guy got from hitting the back of his head after getting knocked out with a slap at weigh-ins. That became a big deal in Japan. That was bad.
Sorry. I apologize. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, but yeah, that's.
I was going to ask, what about the Ensign Inoue incident where the guy got?
Oh yeah, that too. But that didn't become like a major incident in the news.
But there was one time where Rizin, like we could pick out like these guys have like breaking down backgrounds. Do you foresee, maybe with the exception of like one or two, maybe Jolly, that you think Rizin is going to try maybe separate itself from breaking down in the future?
I don't think. I think they would only separate themselves if forced to. Truly forced to. Rizin isn't the kind of promotion to sort of like distance themselves just because somebody had like a sort of like one thing bad going on with them or something like that, or a few things bad going on with them. Because if they were to do that, then they would have already gotten rid of all the breaking down guys.
In terms of also working about the promotions, Bellator, what did you think of Rizin having an official show with Bellator in 2021, I think it was, or 2022.
Yeah, they did a few of those, right? I think
Like I guess like a Ryzen versus actual Bellator show. That one, whatever that one was, where they had the 5 versus 5.
yeah, like Gaji Rabadana versus
Takeda.
Takeda, yeah, etc. I
You-
forgot the name. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that that's the kind of thing that people want to see, right? Major promotions going at it. And yeah, sure, Bellator completely beat up Rizin, destroyed it, but still, yeah,
Well, one fight was questionable. I will say. One fight was questionable. That was the Juan versus um Kim fight. Wait,
yeah.
sorry, was it Kim? No, hold on. No, it was Kim. Wait, hold on. Oh my God, what's his name? Oh my God, I'm already forgetting his name. The Korean fighter that Naoki beat. Is it Kim?
It should be Kim something.
I'm just I'm like, oh, it's Kim because he's Korean. But yeah, yeah, Bellator. Like, so I'm sorry. Go ahead, go finish your thought. I'm so sorry.
No, I think, yeah, it's let me just, yeah, Suchul Kim.
Suchul Kim. Okay, yes, yeah, and yeah, you said that's what people want to see more. Wanted to see more of, or what? Because that was because when Ryzen first started, it seemed to be like kind of like more of this like neutral ground where like fighters from promotion A can fight promotion B without less of without these politics coming into account. And
Yeah.
then probably like around 2019, um, that's when I'll say 2020. 2019, 2020 is when they kind of just started like separating, kind of doing their own thing. And then obviously the pandemic era where it was basically kind of deep with a bigger budget. And then after pandemic, kind of they dug themselves out of that pandemic hole. And then did the whole thing with Bellator, like we just mentioned, and now they're kind of standing on their own. So, with that being said, how do you think how Ryzen when it seemed when it first started till now? Do you think it's kind of good that he made this transition into its own kind of own MMA promotion versus just kind of this neutral ground area where fighters from all over the world could fight each other?
I think that, yes, it's definitely become more of like a Japanese, like we want the Japanese guy to win sort of situation, especially compared to yesteryear. But I'm hoping that it kind of changes back in a way, because if Ryzen is going to try and sort of target like a much bigger international audience, they're going to need to sort of, kind of like make it a little bit more neutral. I would say maybe.
Um, Dubtax is asking about Kurdish and Nigerian people. As somebody who's been to Japan, they've been there even before the pandemic. Well,
Yeah.
at least mostly Nigerians. I don't know about Kurdish people. I don't think I've even met a Kurdish person my entire life.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Personally, my experience with the Kurdish people in Japan has not been good, because there was actually a Kurdish family, like five of them, living in this tiny apartment next door to my house. And one day, I was woken up with them because like three of them had gotten into a massive fight, and like one of them was like trying to stab the other one with an umbrella, and we called the cops on them, and and like we had the police sort that situation out.
Hmm.
And then like a month later, the cops came to our house again, and they were like, "Hey, can we set up a security camera on your veranda?" And they said, and we said, "Yeah, sure. Why do you need that?" And the cops said, apparently there's a drug dealer living in the apartment building next to your house." And yeah,
okay.
uh, yeah, basically that's the idea. And the number one rule of Japanese nightlife is do not go along with the Nigerian touts. That's all.
Yes. Yes, I will say this as somebody who mostly stays in Shinjuku when I go to Japan. Unfortunately, you sometimes got to pass through what's that neighborhood again? What's the neighborhood they're all in?
Joe?
Yeah, Kabukicho, and yeah, unfortunately, yeah, they're going. You have to just basically, you have to literally push these people off you. See, because here's the thing. In my experience
Yeah.
with Nigeria, with the touts, they will grab you by the arm, and you have, yeah, like in America, you do that, you're getting punched in the face, and you're not, everybody's on your side. But the rules are different in Japan. You can't, whoever speaks Japanese is the one that the police are always going to believe,
Yes.
unfortunately. So,
Yes.
and my Japanese is not good enough to say this tout was assaulting me. So, yeah, if you don't want to see Nigerians, don't go to Kabukicho, or try to avoid it. Um, let's see. Oh, here's something interesting. There are about 10 foreign fighters on Rise of 52, which I think is a record for post 2020. I think that might be. Do you
Mm,
think? Do you think that is, Aniki? I think that.
that
I
might
think that.
be.
Yeah. Um. Uh. Let's see. Oh, what was it? Super Anime King has a very interesting thing, and that we could go off of. I'm happy that the current Ryzen, about the current Ryzen, because it has a distinct identity now that it just isn't Pride Light. And I think that was like you said before, those shows were those first shows were just Pride Light. If you look at who was on them, and
Yeah.
just kind of, yeah. But yeah, what do you think? So now that Ryzen, you think that Ryzen is now gone to the point where people no longer associate Pride with Ryzen?
I mean, like, of course, the old fans are always going to associate Pride with Ryzen, but
Yeah.
there's kids who are like, buying Ryzen merchandise. There's like a woman I talked to on Twitter, and she's like obsessed with Alibek Gajamadov, and she spent she started watching MMA in like May of 2024 or something like that, and she's
Mm.
already spent like, what was it, like $4,000, like 900 700,000 yen on like tickets and Alibek Gajamadov merchandise. And
I wonder what Alibuk must. I would love to ask him, like, what do you think about that? And it's like, is that just like, you don't have fans who really buy merch of fighters here in the United States? It's very, I don't want to say it's rare, but
no,
it's very uncommon.
I know. Yeah.
Like maybe like the Australian fans buy stuff for Volk. Maybe the Dagestani fans buy for the Dagestan. I don't know. Maybe they buy crypto or whatever. But I don't know. Like when there are fans of like a don't
Yeah.
die on me, don't die on me, Aniki. I thought you had been poisoned by the Dagestani fans.
Oh,
Um,
no, no. I mean, no, I actually no. Look, I'm not like this lady I talked to. She's a fan of like Ali Beck.
mhm.
A lot of these Central Asian guys. Like, no, they're fine. Yeah, yeah.
Andro has a great question for you. Did Ryzen achieve the same popularity as Pride? Did it peak in Japan this New Year's based on what you've seen?
I mean, like, we saw the numbers: 45,000 people. Ryzen did 3 shows with over 40,000 people last year. It was Dome, Super Ryzen 4, and New Year's.
Hmm.
That's crazy. That is huge.
Also, Jacob Byers, most of the bad shit happens in Tokyo. I've never had any issues in Osaka ever. Um,
Mhm.
so that's just my own experience. So and then there's something I want to what was it? Oh, someone had a great thing I want to get off. Not get off, but like go off on. But anyway, in 2026, okay. Um, I feel like this is the year that maybe UFC will declare war on Ryzen. And I don't mean like a literal war or like they're gonna. One of the predictions I had was that would UFC run a show the same weekend as Ryzen.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
and I was like, I thought about this and I was like, I could see UFC doing that. But also, would it be that dumb? But I'll ask you, what do you think? Do you think that UFC doesn't want any big competition? They don't. Even to a degree, they don't want any little competition in some respect. But do you think that UFC will try? This will be the year they try to undermine Ryzen, either by trying to take away fighters, by running a show in Japan, which I think is a bad thing personally. What do you think? Do you think UFC is going to go that route?
I think this is just my prediction. I think UFC the UFCs, they're gonna do like a UFC Japan or something like that, and
Hmm.
then they're gonna try and do that this year or the next, whenever either Tatsuro or Kyoji gets the title, and then they're gonna do a UFC Japan, and then they're gonna do it, and the UFC are gonna be like, "Wait, where are all the fans? Huh? Where are they?" And then it's just gonna be like, "Okay, we can't access this market. Fuck it."
Do you think UFC could that hurt or help Japanese MMA? Could that help Ryzen in a
I
weird
think it'll
kind of?
help. I think it'll help Ryzen if UFC Japan fucking flops, but it would probably sort of like reduce the chances of um it would hurt, like, Tatsuro Taira and Kyoji's chances of getting more opportunities in the UFC, but by that point they'd already be champions, so it'd be all right.
Hmm. Dubtax wants to know what Japanese phrases should I use to get immigrant scammers away from me? Just tell them get the fuck away from me, or shut the fuck up. That
Yeah,
will always that always
just
transcends. Sorry, go ahead, Aniki.
you just use English.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck it. Fuck is the universe is the one world that everybody knows around the world.
yeah. Fuck off.
Uh, Super Anime King wants to know how come Rise hasn't done the kind of attendance they get in Tokyo when they run shows in Osaka? Because
Just
they don't. Sorry, Aniki, go ahead.
fewer people.
Yeah.
Fewer people. But apparently, fewer people, smaller venues. However, um, apparently, whenever Ryzen does a regional show in places like, they have one coming up in Fukuoka right now.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they do a show over there, or in places like Kobe, or what else is there, like Hokkaido, all those tickets sell out real fast.
And don't forget the one they did in Shikoku last year as well.
Yeah. All those shows sell.
That's the most remote, not the most remote, but that's probably the most rural place they've ever done a show. That area.
Yeah, New Year's this year is in Nagoya.
What do you think about that? How do you think that will go? Nagoya, the Nagoya. I think it's the Nagoya Dome, right?
Yeah. I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna be good. I think that, uh, changing it up from the traditional Saitama Super Arena formula, that's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm. 10 years from now, Ryzen, how do you think the promotion will look? I hate that question. I always hate getting that question in interviews. Like, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? But I don't know. Like, do you have any idea what Ryzen might look like in the year of our 36?
I think that they're not going to be, where the UFC is, but they are probably going to be, they're probably going to be like a major regional problem for the UFC. Like, there will come a point where, it's already happening, with like all these, like, like Jeremy Kennedy on Twitter saying like, "Hey, I really, really want to fight in Ryzen," or Mads Burnell saying like, "I really want to fight in Ryzen," or you have like, guys on the Australian regional scene who are like 5-0, who are like, "I want to fight a Jap, I want to fight over here." Um, Once you have all these international fighters wanting to start fighting in Ryzen instead of fighting in the PFL and stuff, that might cause problems for the UFC.
Speaking of PFL, do you think you think we're gonna see PFL and Ryzen actually have like an official partnership show? I'm not talking like, oh, Takeshi Izumi going back and forth or whatever. Do you think we're gonna have like a PFL versus Ryzen show, or you think that's just not gonna happen?
I don't think that's going to happen. However, there were some talks about. I read this article recently from that between John Saito and Shu Hirata. The original plan, if Naoki Inoue were to have beaten Danny Sabatello, would have been to send him to PFL to fight Sergio Pettis. However, if you can do but even now you could theoretically do Naoki Inoue versus Sergio Pettis, um, even if he's not the champion. It's actually kind of easier now that he's not the champion. But the fact that that deal has apparently fallen through, I think is a sign that bodes badly for any potential Rizin and PFL collaborations. I mean, like,
No,
and you know that it's fallen through because, like, they're openly talking about it, right? And Japan doesn't like to leak that sort of stuff.
Hamza says that he knows people who work in the PFL, and he says there's no cross promotion fights this year. Okay, well, that's sad. That's sad to hear. I mean, listen, they're also beholden to the Saudi investors. Saudi investors say no, we want Hughes versus a random Ov guy or whatever. Yeah,
Oh.
that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen.
Imagine Paul Hughes versus Yaman.
Well, you want to talk about murder? I would always say Yaman would at least have a better chance. Would have maybe.
Oh, I was thinking at featherweight. Okay,
Oh,
and I thought like maybe like the weight cut would compromise Hughes a little bit, but
oh, I don't know. I mean, I like.
like Paul Hughes is a small lightweight. He can make
Yeah.
featherweight.
Yeah. Let's see. What else? Super Anime King says it's pretty obvious that they'll at least go through with a Korean show for 2026. Do you see them renewing with Paradise or do an actual arena in Seoul? Listen, if Paradise is gonna say, "Hey, we'll pay you to come there," why I don't know. Unless a bigger arena will say that will pay you. So I think that's I mean, that's how I see it, right? That's how it is now with all promotions. They go to where who's paying them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say Paradise is good.
It was also a good looking venue. I liked how the venue looked on television.
Yeah, they should do it in the ring instead of the cage, though.
I don't think that could that place even hold a ring. I don't think so. It's too small. I feel like.
Yeah, but the ring was too. The cage was tiny.
I know the cage was tiny, which tells me that ring will like. What are they gonna? Will it be like an 8x8 ring? It'll be like one of those deep kick rings that you can like. You can just do a somersault and you're already at the on the other side.
Oh, right.
Like,
okay. Fine.
That's what I thought. That's why. You ever see some of those regional Japanese shows and the ring is so tiny that you can put your arms out like this and you can hold. You can touch both sides. That's so. Oh man.
Usman versus Nazimov. Please don't kill Nazimov here.
I don't think they would do that. No, I don't think so. No.
If we're gonna
I'm curious.
if we're gonna book a fight, I'd much rather see Usman versus Satoshi, because I think stylistically Satoshi has a better chance against Usman.
Then Hughes or wait, did you say against Hughes or Nazimov in comparison to Usman?
Oh, so Usman, I think Satoshi has a better chance against Usman than Nazimov has against Usman.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. What do you think are some of the mistakes that Rizin should try to avoid in the future, so that they don't, become a dream, become a pride? What do you think are the things that you would say if Shingo came to you, Shingo, Hafid, all the people are like, Aniki, what should we not do? What do you think you would tell them?
Number one, no fights above 170 pounds. 0. I'm sorry, Mikio Ueda. I'm sorry, Sudario. You are all now going to be fighting in Road FC. Like 0. Like 0.
Not even those like one-offs. Remember when they were trying to make Fat Ninja? They were giving like Fat Ninja, those random guys.
The one exception is King Edipolo. Okay? The one exception is King Edipolo. And the only reason why we'll be doing those fights is feeding him cans. We can bring over Junior Tafa, who's probably gonna get, or Justin Tafa, to go and get slimed by King Edipolo, or something like that. And because then, like, King Edipolo is going to be Rizin's present to the UFC, in 5 years' time to make sure that they don't come after Rizin. Right? It's like we will give you this heavyweight prospect in return for you guys not fucking with us over here.
Mm-hmm. Anything else besides that? Besides no fights above 170?
No fights above 170. What else?
How about this? Not doing a show in America.
Yeah, not doing do not do a show in America. I would say just think about it in terms of time zones. You want India, Australia, Indonesia, Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they don't have much Aussie talent. Maybe they don't have good relations with like Hex Fights or Eternal MMA or something like
You
that.
think that like they have Damian Brown, like they could get people from his gym, or I think he has his own promotion as well. I think does he have like his own little regional? I think. Remember they had Trent Girdham. He was like a regular, and
Yeah, yeah,
now
yeah.
and they haven't had. I wonder if there's like some weird like visa thing going on now. That's the only thing.
Mm.
Like that's the only thing I could think of. Like, um, John Wayne Parr they had. I remember they brought him in for I think his wasn't it his retirement fight, his retirement and kickboxing fight, I think it was.
Mm.
But yes, Ben Nguyen, as well to be fed to Horiguchi.
Yeah.
You also the other thing also. Well, actually, I'll give you. Is there another thing that you would tell Ryzen not to do?
Ooh.
The other thing also, while you think about that, I'm going to tell people why I don't think a America show would be good for Ryzen. You guys want to get the Ryzen experience, and I guarantee you 100% you are not going to get that at the the Ball Arena. They are not. It's going to be a scaled down show. There will maybe be like 4 or 5 Japanese guys on the show that you're fans of. You're going to get sanitized. Remember the Azerbaijan show? That's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You're going to get that, and it's going to be. You're going to be disappointed, especially if you want to see the rule set. I would rather just tell everybody, save up your money for Japan, find out when Ryzen's doing a show, go to Japan, and go see it there, because you're at least gonna get the Ryzen experience, and you can buy merch. That's the thing. The Azerbaijan show didn't even have merch there to sell, and I don't think the Korea one either did. So if you want to buy some T-shirts or whatever, just go save up the money in Japan. Sorry to say, Aniki, I know the end's dog shit right now. So if you're America, take advantage of that, save up some money, and then, find out when Japan's doing a show, and you can easily get tickets at anywhere at the box office, Lawson. Komei Day says the Ryzen experience requires about 10,000 fans. And that's the other thing. I don't think Ryzen has that, why would they want to burn money potentially to, that they may have to, they'll put 10,000 fans while 1,000 bought tickets, but 9,000 maybe comped or papered. It's not worth it at this point. It's really not worth it at this point, in my opinion. But barring that, were you able to think of a third thing that you would tell Rise not to do, Aniki?
Yeah. I would say find a way to make. I would say like completely give up on trying to sort of promote women's MMA.
That will piss off more people than the Dagestani stuff. There are people who love. Actually, no, but it's more pro wrestling, women's pro wrestling. But I guess I don't know. A lot of people now I think about don't like women's MMA.
I mean, like I would say like you can of course do like fights with like Kate Lotus, and you can do like these. I would say don't make a belt. Don't make any more belts. Not for women's MMA. Don't make any more belts. Do it all one matches.
Hamza wants to know, should they sign Raja Jackson? I don't think he could probably even come to Japan at this point. There's no way, even if they want to sign him.
Oh, bro, we should we can bring in Raja Jackson. We can just I don't know, free title defense for Chade Alive.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, is he? He doesn't look like he could even make 145 unless he cut off a leg or something.
I don't know, but who cares? Shade Alive would kill him, whatever. And we can have Shade Alive slam him on the ground and like completely kill him. So
WMAC now says just get rid of Izawa. Do you think Izawa will leave for UFC this year?
there's no way. There's no way. Um, she's very small even for atom weight. She doesn't cut a lot of weight, and it's just so comfortable, basically sitting in Japan, uh, crushing all these girls who can't grapple, um, and getting a paycheck for it. Like basically, um, the problem with Izawa is besides the Rena knockdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
There just hasn't been much exciting in that division, and well, it's like the entire sort of narrative of that division is just to find out how do we get rid of this woman? How do we find somebody who can beat her?
Mm. Tisan says one thing he can say nowadays is that Rizin cheap seats sell out quicker. A seats around 10,000 to 15,000 yen, about $100. S seats increased price 30,000, excuse me, 30 to 35,250 USD or more. What can you say about also, as a fan who goes to shows, what do you think about the increase in ticket prices? Do you think there could come a point where it kind of kills the audience if they're priced too high?
I think that currently the tickets are priced they're somewhat high, but just how would I put this? Knowing Ryzen's audience and the type of people who end up going to the shows, I feel like they can price them at like fucking like 10,000, 100,000 yen for the cheapest tickets and still sell out. Because just knowing some of the people who go to the shows, they're the kind of type of people to take out payday loans. So
Okay, I see.
yeah.
I see. Um, Someone had Bonjour wants to know, you think Barrow will try to get a boxing star like Tank Davis a fight in 2026? I
Oh,
hope
that's
not.
another one. Don't bring in any of these super expensive boxing guys. It's a
I
waste.
mean, Floyd's in debt apparently. Listen, he's got to go to the ATM machine, aka Barra. So I
I would say there's no point in bringing in these. Like the only reason why I would bring in Floyd Mayweather is to bring him in, put him in, tell him, hey, it's a boxing match. Then right before the fight, you're just wrap him up in 4-ounce gloves and be like, no, we're changing the contract. It's MMA now. You're fighting Kilma Akimoto, and we just have Kilma kill Floyd Mayweather, knock him out. The entire world cheers. Would be beautiful.
Buffalo says Izawa to Invicta. Invicta does not exist anymore. You can't convince me otherwise.
I see their Twitter account still active.
What does that say about being active on social media, but you have no shows announced? That tells me that you don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my thought. And this has been a topic that's been throughout the entire chats, and I appreciate the chat. By the way, guys, also like and comment. That helps the algorithm. Chatting doesn't, unfortunately. So please, again, if you haven't, like and send a comment in the box below there. What do you think? People, fans of Ryzen, overseas geeks, always seem to want to know, how can Ryzen become more international, more famous outside the United States? Do you think that's at all possible? And if you think it is, what do you think Ryzen can do 26 and on to say, to get more international recognition?
I think, I know this is going to sound silly. I think the key is memes. The key is memes. And I'm not kidding when I say that. When Patchy Mix, like for example, there's this big meme account on Instagram called Tony Has Died. And when Patchy Mix got cut from the UFC and had his fight against Akimoto released, the account made like a meme of Patchy Mix going after it was like a SpongeBob meme where Patchy Mix is like, "Hey, we can go after that guy," and like it's like Marab, Sean O'Malley, Umar Nurmagomedov, like Song Yadong. It's like that, like those guys, and then like his view changes to Kilma Akimoto, and it's like a little kid, 19 years old. The fact that we have those sorts of memes sort of organically developing right? In like a pretty big MMA account for, international audiences. I think that's a great sign, like a huge sign, big sign.
So from the way from over here, I think when I would see Ryzen get a lot of recognition, it would be fights like Gabby Garcia or Bob Sapp versus Osuna
Yeah,
Rashi. Those and the Bellator versus
yeah.
Ryzen thing as well, and having Fedor when they would have Fedor or Crow Cop. So, do you think Ryzen has to? Do you think they should ever kind of go back to those really bizarre, out of the box type fights that just that are just there for honestly memes?
Yeah, I think that it's not just those memes, but I think that, the fact that, people are getting sort of like hyped for for a patchy mixed hate watch against Kilma.
Hmm.
Although I'm sorry, Chad, I'm pretty sure Patch is going to win that fight. The fact that Kilma trains at JTD is such a waste. Um, yeah, I think that I think that those types of things are going to push Ryzen into like the public consciousness. And then from there, it's like part of it is going to be sort of like slowly showing people that there is another way to do things that works, that isn't the UFC. There's another way to do MMA that is uh, different and unique, and honestly, I think much more well put together overall, and much more, I would say, in a way, beautiful than what the UFC does.
Hmm. Do you mean for fighters or fans? Because I could kind of see it for both ways.
For both, I think. I think for fighters, they already want to. They all the fighters from all like the semi-major promotions, they all already want to come here. Like, you're talking about one championship here, and everybody's asking me
Yeah.
when one championship is going to go to under.
Hmm.
Uh, Soon, hopefully soon. Um, no, Charity Sit Yadong was apparently at Rise of New Year's.
Oh,
And
you
bought,
saw that too. He had to buy tickets.
I wonder how the Qataris feel, because that's probably with their money.
I know.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the Qataris should just give Ryzen all of their one championship money. Just saying.
Hmm.
I'm serious. I'm serious. It would actually, yeah.
Um. So do you think someone who is it? Someone said that oh yeah, Bonjour. Ryzen will buy one championship is my bet prediction. I don't think Ryzen is in the interest of doing that though. If
Yeah,
one
no.
goes out of business, they'll just liquidate or just sell it to UFC. I'm sure UFC can use it for
I
Paramount
don't
Plus.
think one will go out of business. I don't
Hmm.
think one will go out of business. I think what's going to end up happening with one is, and I see, yeah, they renewed with Lumpini, right? I see that
Oh, they did. I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
they did renew with Lumpini, but I think what's going to end up happening is they're just going to phase out MMA,
Mm.
and people are going to be like, oh wait, where's the MMA?
Hmm.
They're already doing that, and they might have like one or two MMA fights per card, but they're just going to become a kickboxing promotion. That's all.
Mm. Mm. Um. Okay. Oh, Super Anime King says, I think they'll always be limited. Ryzen will be limited popularity here in the US simply because of the time difference. American fans of soccer still complain about waking up at 7 a.m. to watch the Premier League. But there's a big difference between waking up at 7 a.m. versus a show that's going on at like say 1 a.m. that goes
Yeah,
for 5 or 6 hours.
yeah.
Um,
I think
I
that.
mean,
Oh,
yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
like
No, go ahead.
one good marketing campaign that Ryzen could do could be like, I don't know. This would be exclusively for international audiences. It would be like the Ryzen. I don't know. Like ruin your schedule, ruin your sleep health for Ryzen or something like that. Like sort of like we're gonna you like sort of like memify the idea of staying up all night to watch Ryzen.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
like
think I think also one of the things that Ryzen could do, make their merchandise available to us. We can't buy the merch here.
seriously.
If any, they supposedly opened up an international. I thought they, someone told, I thought there's no way to get Rizin merchandise other than like
That's
the
tragic.
I don't think if someone could correct me, I don't think Rizin has an international store because I've never heard of anybody telling me, oh, hey, they bought a Rizin shirt through like an international store or something. Um, that helps. That simply just helps, just having merchandise available, I think.
Yeah.
Code Mayday
Ooh.
says it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I just saw something from Puffle and I was like, that's actually good.
I'll get to him in a second. Kome Day says the biggest national things that can happen to Rizin are one discontinuing MMA, PFL getting kicked off ESPN, ACA dying with Katarov. I think ACA, despite its connections, I still think holds a place, somewhat in the MMA sphere. I don't know. Do you think that other promotions doing worse or going under can help Rizin, or is that kind of just does that kind of, I don't know, does UFC benefit from that more?
I think the UFC doesn't benefit from other promotions going down because the UFC already has everything. I think that one discontinuing MMA would be pretty helpful in some ways because you would get like the influx of atom weight talent to feed to Izawa or hopefully beat her so that things get interesting again. PFL getting kicked off of ESPN. I mean, I think the PFL, with the way that they've restructured, they really are sort of like hunkering down and trimming the fat. Don Davis. I think that PFL, whatever. ACA dying with Kadyrov. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
unlikely.
Yeah.
And this is what Puffle said. What was it? Rising can co-promote with Niza, and it'll help them expand the Central Asian audience. So yeah, what do you want to say about that?
I was gonna say that's a good idea. And the other thing is, I also think I think that the other show that Rising could definitely do work with is Brave. Because I know that Brave has like they hold shows in like Georgia and India and stuff like that, and they have really good fighters. And I know like we definitely can't bring over Mokaev because Mokaev is too expensive, and he would also. I mean, hopefully he just gets like kneed in the face with a grounded knee or a soccer ball kicked or something like that. But he definitely has the ability to kind of stink it up, even in the Rising rules. However, Brave has good fighters, and they have. I mean, like Ryzen brought over Shorty Torres. They have Diaz Gaipov, who has fought Ryuya Fukuda, and he beat Ryuya Fukuda. I think that Brave is like a definite possible option for sort of expanding that, maybe expanding their influence, maybe in the Middle East, expanding their influence, maybe in like Central Asia, South Asia, places like that. Brave is definitely an option.
Super Anime King wants to know where I could buy Ryzen merchandise in Tokyo at a Ryzen show, if there is one. But you could probably go to Totocon, right?
Yeah. You could also go to like Isami in Shinjuku.
Oh, yes, the Isami store. Yes. Ryzen used to have their own store in Roppongi, but they closed it down. And so, yeah.
Bad location. Roppongi rent is expensive.
I know, man. I don't know why anybody would live in Roppongi. I'm trying to go through. Super Bellator. They need more. Okay. They need. Hamza says they need more promotions to UFC they don't know how to buy good fight. Were you talking? I'm sorry. I think that was in the middle of a thing. Bonjour says Rizin to buy Jake Paul minutes for his MMA fight is another bet of mine. I cannot see that happening at all.
There's no way. I mean, we can bring over what Rizin should do. Oh, this would be such a good. This would be like the freak show fight. We bring over Logan Paul, and then we have Edo Polo King kill him in the cage, kill him in the ring. Because everybody in Japan hates Logan Paul for the Suicide Forest thing.
So wait, Logan Paul or Jake? Oh, wait, talking Logan. Did you say
Logan Paul? Logan Paul.
Oh, Logan he's with WWE now. He ain't gonna do.
I know, but still, if there was a way to do that, WWE, that's TKO Group, that's impossible, but still.
I see here that LFA, LFA talk. What do you think? Have you ever heard that some people, I think Jack Slack, call Rizin the LFA of Japan? Have you heard this? Uh, what do you think? Do you think Rizin can ever shed that, at least with an international perception, or is that
I think
always
it's
just
already
going to be
shedding it. I think it's
okay?
already shedding it. I'm doing my best to sort of get rid of that perception.
Mm,
But I think that with LFA, calling it the LFA of Japan is a serious disservice to, I would say, the promotion of the way that, I mean, like LFA, it just feels like any other MMA promotion. Sure, the level is very, very high, and I would say in many cases is higher than Rizin.
mm,
However, like look at the spectacle of it all, right? I mean, like,
mm.
do you have LFA fans of LFA uh
Fans of
going
LFA.
and like buying cards of like Jose Augusto or something like that?
So I'm just going to. I think what he wasn't. I think he meant in the sense of this is the feeder promotion for the Japanese feeder promotion for UFC. I think that's what he was trying to imply. I don't think he was saying that their
I
LFA
mean,
quality.
I don't think that's the case because think about like the actual feeder promotions for the UFC. The actual feeder promotions for the UFC in Japan
Mm,
are Shudo, Pancrase Deep, and
mm,
Grachan. Now that Keiichiro has made it.
mm,
Like those are the actual feeder promotions, and I believe those are on Fight Pass. Rizin is on its own platform and has only they've sent like 4 guys to the UFC, right?
mm, mm,
I guess and Tafik maybe technically is UFC now, but
mm,
uh, and like only 2 of those guys are Japanese because they
mm,
sent Yuri, Manel, Kai, Kyoji, and Tafik, and only 2 of those are Japanese. And like and Kyoji was like formerly in the UFC and he just went back. So the only Japanese guy to go to uh right into UFC was Kai.
mm,
And even then, you can't say it's like LFA Japan because whenever these rising guys go to the UFC, they're immediately given like a ranked opponent. I mean, Koji got a ranked opponent, Yuri got a ranked opponent, Kai, of course, fought for the belt. Manel got Pantoja, who was ranked like number 6, I believe, at the time. Yeah.
Super Anime King says, "Is Deep a feeder promotion for UFC? I thought they were Riot's feeder. At one time, they were. A lot of fighters from Deep would go to UFC, like
Yeah.
Mizuki,
Yeah.
Naoki.
Yeah.
I think, and Deep would do this thing. This is funny. I don't know if you know about this, Aniki, but they would, if a fighter of theirs went to the UFC, they wouldn't have them vacate. They would still have them on the poster or like those like banners, even though they're in UFC and are never defending the Deep Championship. So
Yep.
every time they would mention Mizuki, they would say current fighter, UFC fighter Mizuki, who is a deep atomweight. I think he was atomweight champion. For like, that's how they promote her in Deep. So Deep would just that's a Sayaki thing. He knew what he was doing. He
Yeah.
would yeah. If anything, they were the promotion that was feeding. I would say them and Pancreas. At one point, Pancreas was like the open door to UFC. If you got like 3 or 4 wins in Pancreas when they were on Fight Pass, then that's how you got to UFC.
Yeah. But Deep is definitely is Ryzen's feeder promotion, and I think that's another sign that Ryzen is growing into sort of like a major promotion. Dude, Deep sells out all of its tickets at Korakuen Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
they've sold out all 2,000 tickets at Korakuen Hall, twice this year, and this is some information that I've heard, but apparently they're going to be doing like a super deep show. Apparently,
Super deep. They're going
yeah,
in super deep. Yeah. Yeah. Super deep. But yeah, no, I can tell you that. So I was gonna try to go to that show that they had with Akizawa versus Guts, but I couldn't get
why?
tickets because I just thought that fight looked hilarious, but also they had a good undercard
Yeah,
for that. But I couldn't get a ticket because it was entirely sold out. So I was
yeah.
just like, whatever.
Oh,
Uh,
Saiki-san's reason for putting Akazawa as the main event.
oh, what is this? I gotta hear this.
If you don't like Akazawa, you can just walk out. before he fights.
That's funny. Also, yeah, we can forget about Victor Henry, who is in Rizin, and then yeah, deep champion for 3 years while in UFC. Aniki, this is a question for you from Super Anime King. What is the perception of Kai now in Japan after getting beat twice?
Um, basically, yeah, a lot of people are like, a lot of his core fans, his diehard fans, are like, "You can still do it. You can still make it." And there's a part of me that thinks that as well. But then, when I think about the UFC bantamweight division, I'm just like, is there anybody in this division that um, Kai can beat besides Adrian Yanez? However,
Figueiredo. I was thinking about that. Like, he can maybe beat Figueiredo.
that is true. I mean, Figueiredo is
The Figueiredo now that I saw fight Umar.
Umar.
Wait, is it? Yeah, Umar.
Umar.
Yeah, that guy gets. I think he gets outworked by Kai just by size and just like length and all that stuff, and too slow as well.
Yeah, the speed advantage would be for Kai, but I think Figueiredo would just clinch him up against the fence. What was I going to say here? I think that with Kai, the fan perception is he has a lot more haters now. A lot more haters and a lot more people who are like, this guy has... Where did this guy's takedown defense go? Where was the takedown defense from his fight with Ogi Kubo?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the power that he used to knock out Ogi Kubo and knock out Kyoji and knock out, break Oka Sasaki's jaw? People are like, yeah, they're just disappointed, incredibly disappointed. I would say, and they're even more disappointed now that he's doing work for breaking down instead of wrestling.
So actually, I want to ask you about that. One of my predictions was that this year, that Kai's gonna have his fights in UFC. I think he's gonna lose unless they patch him up with like someone who you said or
Dude,
some guys.
The only two guys that Kai Asakura should be fighting in the UFC are Adrian Yanez and Toshiomi Kazama.
What about Chito Vera? No, wait. Kazama could probably take him down. You don't think he'll?
You see, but the thing is that if Kazama beats Kai, then Kazama, he gets his little bit of domestic stardom. So it would be a good fight for Kazama, but Kai would still probably knock him out. So.
What about Chito Vera? I think Kai could maybe win that. I think that
Kai might be able to win that, but there's also just a chance that Chito Vera chins him, and it's even more of a meme, right? And if we're talking about power, I would say that Chito probably hits just as hard as Kai. And if we're talking about durability, Chito is like incredibly durable. There's no way Kai knocks him out.
Okay. I had a big prediction that this year Kai will have that fight 135, and I think he's going to lose, most likely. And I think he gets cut, and he will return to Rizin by the end of this year. Do you foresee that possibly happening?
Let's go Rizin New Year's, Kai Asakura versus Danny Sabatello.
They would do that. They would probably do that.
Dude, I would be cheering for Danny all day. Yeah, sure. Like at least Danny won on Dana White's Contender Series.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think? Is there anybody in Rizin right now who you think, besides Shadow Eye, obviously, that could go to UFC and go on a tear?
Right now, this instant.
Let's say, do you think it could be a Nazimov? Do you think it could be anybody but Shadow Eye? Or you think right now there's nobody at that level yet?
Define go on a tear in the UFC.
I mean, someone who could be successful. We can get kind of like another Jiri, possibly.
There's nobody who could be another Yuri besides Shadow Live. Maybe Koma in 2 to 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the way that I see it is Nazimov. He would lose to like a Mateus Rebecki. Satoshi would probably lose to let me think about it. I'd see Satoshi losing to like. I think that he might be able to make it into like the bottom 15-ish rankings, but even then I can see him just getting like out grappled by like a Mateusz Gamrot, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, people are saying like people are giving names like Chihiro Suzuki 2 to 3 years ago, Majima, Ando. Ando had his chance, man, and he got unfortunately. Diego,
He fucked up
Diego
with
Lopez.
fighting a featherweight.
Yeah, Diego Lopez. Who's the? Okay, you spelled it wrong. I was like Diego. Wait, you're saying that who should Diego Lopez fight, or that? Am I misreading this? That Akimoto could beat Diego Lopez. I don't think not even 2 to 3 years. I don't know if Akimoto could beat a Lopez type. So the other thing also I wanted to ask. We talk about Suzuki. Okay, maybe you're talking about Suzuki.
Lopez.
Oh, I think Lopez would maul Suzuki.
I think
we've had our talk about the weight cut thing as well. Remember? Yeah. So Lopez would be so much bigger than Suzuki.
Suzuki could probably make flyweight.
Yeah,
he
could make. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Hamza says he thinks that Satoshi would drop to 145. I can't see Satoshi ever making.
Satoshi is huge. I've seen him in person. He is huge.
Yeah,
like he is thick.
It's that Brazilian sauce. What do you think about Sakaki Bara saying that he's going to retire by what was it, age 65? He said, or age 60? Do you remember the exact age he said?
I don't think he's going to retire. No way. Like Jamin maybe for like that would actually kill Rizin.
I want to ask about if he were to retire, what does that take away? First of all, who do you think would take his position over, and then like what does that just do? Do you think it just is like kind of like a Vince McMahon thing, leaving WWE?
I think that Charlie would have to take over, or Keiichi Sasahara, but I mean, like the. I guess Shingo could take over. Maybe I'll take Shingo's job. Who knows?
Captain says one more Yakuza scandal needs to happen first. I mean, listen.
Go. Actually, it's already kind of happening.
What?
It's actually not. This is the one thing that. It's actually, I can send you the links to Twitter on Twitter, but basically, I can just get you the links here. There was, I'll send you the links.
Okay.
Okay, Bob. That's one link. So basically, it comes down to: do you know Nii Suguru?
Yep, Suguru Nii. Yes, we all love Suguru Nii. Yep.
Do you know why he's been able to fight in Rizin so many times, despite being on like a 4-fight losing streak? I sent it to you in the private chat.
Yes. I'm already looking at these gentlemen, and I can just tell by the way they are dressed that these are people of not savory backgrounds. Oh, there he is from second to left. Is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay, that is him. Okay. So what is this? So what's the dirt on Nii?
Oh, basically, the head of how Nii used to work for a security firm, right?
Yes, yeah.
The head of the security firm has ties to the Yakuza, and that kind of got exposed in this photo because they were dumb enough to take a photo together. Like how holy shit. And there's like the theory that perhaps like these Yakuza guys were paying money to Rizin to have Nii fight, and that would explain why Nii's been able to fight on all these cards, and why Rizin was scrambling for an opponent to replace Juan Archuleta after Juan pulled out due to visa issues.
Okay, so everybody, you can see the pictures right there. That is Nii right there, if I'm correct. I believe that is him. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, like, so I haven't heard about this at all, and I usually keep up with the news in Japan, all that stuff. So is this something that's going to become big, or is this kind of just is this just I think this was on January 31st, so this is only a day here a
I
day.
don't
So.
think it's going to be a big deal though, because these guys aren't like direct Rizin, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, call me Dave. You saying this is an old story, or is this something? Oh, is this the was this Mr. X or Mr. Y or whatever? I think that happened a few years ago. Well, anyway, sorry. So you think this will? You think this will become? I remember the Chihiro Suzuki one and the Trigger one. That whole Trigger thing. If you remember that. Along with Mr. X, Mr. Y, the Bara thing for that publication. I don't know. Do you think this one will become big? I don't know. What? I don't think this is going
I'm
to.
like, this one. Look at the number of likes it's getting on Twitter. It's not a massive deal. It's got 1,000, 2,000. So
yeah, and if 640,000 people saw it and are not reacting, they're just scrolling by it and they don't give a shit, likely. So, I mean, okay, well, I guess part of the course for JMMA or whatever, there's always got to be a scandal every year or something. But going back to you think if Bar were to leave, then like that hurts Rizin. Like, do you think that hurts them like from perception wise? Even
I think that the only person who could replace Bara as the CEO of Rizin, like the actual organization, like the actual operations, you could have somebody else do a lot of the work there, right? Like I'm sure that like Shingo of course can do all the matchmaking. Hafi could probably take over some of those duties as well. They can bring in some other guys to do the international side of stuff. The negotiations in Japan, I'm sure that like Sasahara and other guys could do it, but the only person who can replace the character of Bara is probably Mikuru.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only like the Bara is the true face of Japanese MMA.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. I agree with that, man. So 10 years of Rizin. We made it to 2026. As somebody who does train in UFC/Rizin, and you've seen what has Rizin done exponentially for the Rizin the JMMA scene there that you can tell us firsthand. Have you noticed more people at your gym?
There's so many more people in my gym.
Okay.
And they're all like 17-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds. There was like just 2 days ago, there was this kid that came in and he was like super green. His striking technique was awful, but I could tell this guy has talent. And he was like 16 or 17 years old with a judo background. It's good. Like a lot of these young kids are coming in and like really putting in good work.
Well, I think I know who you're talking about. I think I might know who you're talking about.
No, you don't know this guy.
I don't.
He's new.
Oh, this wasn't the guy who got beat up when we were training together. If you remember that one guy who got beat up by that other.
No. It's not that guy.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that's who you were talking about. Do you think that Japan could have like, I don't want to say that Bellator is number 2, but like let's just pretend for the fact that it was, or that maybe it was. Do you think that Japan could ever see an offshoot of like maybe two like national MMA, domestic MMA promotions at the same time, a Rizin and like something else like a Bellator level?
I mean, not really, but the thing is that the one problem that people are talking about in JMMA is that Shudo is dying. Like Shudo is in complete zombie mode.
I feel like I've heard that for like the last 15 years.
but it's like it's actually bad because what they're doing now is that they're putting in like kids fights and amateur fights and
oh, I saw that on their YouTube channel. They actually had kids fights. I saw that.
Yeah, they're becoming one championship.
Oh man. So I mean, like, what is that? I mean, does anything happen if Shuto dies? You think? Does that? that cause like, I don't know, a brief hiccup?
I don't think Shudo is going to die because the thing with Shudo is that I believe that they have like a big sponsor in Docomo,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken. They have like some sort of sponsor deal that's going on that will probably help them revive the promotion. But
Mhm.
the fact that Shudo doesn't have like that instant connection to Ryzen that Deep does, that's gonna hurt the promotion.
Oh, yeah, that was also kind of their fault because remember they got into bed with one and they couldn't do anything with
Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of
Yeah, you
like
see, one championship is pure toxic cancer for the.
who said that? Who said that? Who did someone say that in the chat?
No. I just said it. I
Oh,
was
I
like,
thought that okay, that was you. Okay. Okay.
one championship is pure toxic cancer for any MMA promotion that dares work with them.
AZ Ray says, is WMMA healthy in Japan at the moment? I can tell you
No.
right now. Oh no, yes. I was gonna say that.
Okay,
No.
I can give
It's
you like a brief rundown of the women's MMA scene here in Japan.
go ahead.
Uh, Seika Izawa is so good. Um, However, she's so many levels above the other women. However, she's so many levels below in terms of physicality and also striking technique compared to the UFC. There's like a few shining lights in women's MMA for Japan. Like Mizuki in the UFC, she got a good win there against a really strong prospect. Of course, there's Kate Lotus. Like she sells tickets. She has a following. And also the other big upcoming star, I would say, is this uh, female fighter, women's MMA fighter called Suzu Oi, who fights in Deep
Mm-hmm.
Jewels. And she's like 2 wins, 0 losses, but uh, she already has like a massive social media following. Not a massive one, but a significant one because she looks cute. And her backbone is in wrestling, so she can actually wrestle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She should teach Kai how to wrestle.
So I mean, Kobe Day also has another point. Which country is WMMA healthy? I mean, I guess by default here. I mean, that's the United States, I guess. Yeah. I mean, other than like anywhere else, you know.
Brazil.
Oh, that's a good. That's good. Maybe Europe? PFL was getting like Dakota Ditcheva and I guess yeah. Oh, with WMAC also brings up Machi as well. They're
Yeah,
pushing Machi,
they're pushing Machi.
but she also won't fight at atom weight. Apparently, wants to just do straw weight. She doesn't want to cut the weights.
Honestly, like that's another thing. Like you have all these like star potential fighters or whatever. Not star potential. I mean like they're the fighters who could like bring in uh um like attention, but they're all at different weight classes. Machi's at straw weight.
Mm-hmm.
Oi Suzu, she's at microweight. That's like 40
Yeah.
kilograms, something like
Yeah.
that. She's
Yes.
tiny,
Yes.
tiny. Um, and then you have like, and Izawa's off, of course, at atom weight. Like, what do you like? How do you matchmake these people? Oh no, and they all train together.
Yeah. Remember, there was like we had a discussion. I think in the Discord or I don't know. We were talking. Oh yeah, we are talking about Reina, the recap show, and yeah, like Ayaka Miura trains with Izawa, and then like the one person who doesn't train with anybody is like Itsuki Hirata. She's like,
Yeah.
she's like the outlier in this.
Uh,
So
she's like, isn't she Kashimura's boyfriend or your
yeah,
girlfriend?
yeah. So
I
I
mean,
think
like that's like that's all you need really, at least for grappling.
yeah, yeah. WABC says I see a lot of Japanese fans on X talking about Oi the last time she fought. I was surprised, came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Um,
It's because she's conventional. Well, not I don't know if she's technically like.
well,
What?
I think with you, is she ring girl standard
Yes,
attractive?
yes, she's like ring girl hot.
Okay.
Okay. Um, and she has like this all like bubbly personality on that all that. Honestly, she could be the fighter to make a dent in Rizin's international sort of women's MMA space. Like if there were to like be a fighter to sort of eventually sort of be like, okay, this is like the face of women's MMA in Rizin. it would be her, and it's because not because of the fight style or the fight personality. She would just be sort of like a uh in Japanese we say like kyakubiki panda, which means a fan attracting panda. She would be like a sort of like a she would be like the inverse of Bob Sapp. So Bob
Hmm.
Sapp is like this freak, right?
Mhm.
And Suzu would end up being like this fighter who draws in attention just because of how unique and bizarre it is to have somebody like her fighting.
Mhm. One of the last topics I want to get into, and I think now it's a topic I don't like talking about, but I think it's still important. Betting in Japan and Ryzen. Is that something that could make Ryzen big internationally? Is
That
well.
would make Ryzen huge in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I don't know if is Polymarket. I think Polymarket might be legal over here.
Is it? Didn't gambling just get legalized in Japan? I thought that's
I
why
haven't been
Floyd.
following the news.
Okay, because that's how I thought Floyd seemed to be like investing in Ryzen or like gambling outlets in Japan. If you remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um. So like, I mean, yeah. Is that if there's nothing else, Ryzen just like partners of like I don't know, Cloud Bets,
Yeah.
or something.
No, but like online casinos, those are still illegal.
Oh, they are. Oh, okay, okay.
Like gambling is yeah, gambling. Um Gambling would make Ryzen it would be basically like a dark art. I feel like it would make Ryzen a shit ton of money in the long run if they were able to manage to find a way to get around gambling.
Hmm. Oh,
Like,
T-San says, sorry, was T-San says Osaka is now making a gambling place by MGM.
mm,
Interesting. Okay. Sorry, but go ahead.
yeah, they're making like a casino, right? They're building like they're where like Japan actually is starting to get into the gambling thing. However, I think that if Ryzen gets into the gambling thing, uh, there is a significant possibility that, yeah, uh, something goes wrong and terribly wrong. And I'm specifically here. I'm thinking about things like you know about the Isaac Dolgarian situation in the
Mm-hmm.
UFC.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. We had
And
somebody in our Discord, by the way, say that Ryzen should sign him because he'll be very cheap.
dude, Isaac Dolgarian versus Shivatar. And the point is it's not like it's not a real fight. The point is that it's a
Yeah.
fixed fight, but
Yeah.
it's both sides are trying to lose.
That's funny.
Both sides are trying to lose. Isaac Dolgarian versus Shibatar.
um, do you think? Okay, this will be the last topic. Should Ryzen lean into more signing former UFC guys like they've done with Mix and they've done with Shorty, if you want to put him in that category, and a few others? If you want to even put Sabatel in that case, I guess you kind of technically, but or should they, when they're trying to, should they lean more towards outside the UFC? Do you think that the perception of signing guys who have lost in UFC, and they get cut and then sign them, do you think that can ever have a backfire effect?
I think that what you need to do with the guys that um, sign with I think that Rising needs to be careful, but they should definitely sign guys who have been cut from the UFC. The one thing that you cannot have is Patchy Mix winning the featherweight title against Shadalayev. That is the one thing you absolutely cannot have happen if you're Shingo, right? Because then it's like, fuck, right? We look
So
terrible.
do you think? So okay, so that's a weird position because UFC cuts him, but he was Bellator champion. Now he beats Shadolayev, and I don't know even what to think about that.
Yeah, that'd be like, oh, how bad is everybody outside of the UFC?
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
So I think that, yes, you need to They cannot let Patchy win the belt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
However, once you feed Patchy to Shade Alive, and Shade Alive beats Patchy, because I think Shade Alive kills Patchy in round 1 or 2. The still, what Patchy Mix and what these former UFC guys can serve as is as tests, basically tests
Mm-hmm.
to, yeah, like the Japanese fighters to build them up. However, and also I don't think it's a problem that Danny Sabatello won the belt. I know that might come as a shock, but the fact that Danny Sabatello, he never fought in the UFC, so like fans have no idea how good he truly was. I mean, he fought in Dana White's Contender Series, but he didn't get
Oh,
the contract.
okay. Got you.
That's why he signed with Bellator. The fact that he never fought in the UFC, it would just be like, you just don't know, right, where exactly he would be.
Mm-hmm.
But with
Mm-hmm.
Patchy, we know where he is. So,
Mm-hmm. Barring that, final words on Rizin in 10 years. Anything you want to say?
Rizin 10 years. I think that the goal, of course, is to get to the point where Rizin, is how would I put this? The clear number 2 to the UFC. And honestly, I think that if Rizin were to run all of MMA and were to be in the position that the UFC is right now, I think that MMA as a sport would be much bigger. That's just me.
Well, we'll go Super Anime King's question. Final question. Thoughts on the Rizin 52 poster?
Yeah, right. It's good.
I don't like the samurai sword, or I guess the sword thing is cool. I don't like how they kind of just stuck like the fighters' faces just kind of like left and just kind of like they just like boom, 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 just list them all. It'd be cool if like I don't know, maybe they had like 2 fighters and they're each brandishing swords or something like that. I don't know. I don't like the design of the fighters on the left with just like their high school with like their I don't know yearbook pictures on that side. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. Other than that, Aniki, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find my YouTube channel. It's AnikiMMA on YouTube. You can also follow me on Twitter. My Twitter presence is pretty big. It's got like 2,400 followers, something like that. Also, I do have an Instagram, although I rarely post anything, and I just like meme reels on there. But yeah, that's about all.
Again, also, please like and subscribe if you are not subscribed, and please comment as well. Pretty, please. Again, contest for this Rizin shirt. Message me on Twitter, X, that what fight you want to see Rizin do in 2026, and you will be entered no matter where you are. Also, as well, as a reminder, I will be doing a panel at KatsuCon on JMMA and Rizin. And the time is for the day that is February 14th, 9 p.m. at KatsuCon in Maryland as well. And we'll have some shows coming up. There's going to be a roundtable potentially in the next few weeks. Once I get my laptop fixed, I'm having some problems with it. And luckily, it didn't short out on me today. And then, of course, a preview of Rizin 52 coming up. Other than that, thank you, everybody who tuned in. Appreciate the support as always. Be safe out there, stay warm, and take care. See you in the next one.